guys. Thanks so much for joining for the Craft With Me class for Friday. We are going to continue working on the French country journals, or at least that's what I'm working on. You can take anything that I'm showing you tonight and apply it to any different kind of theme journal that you would like. So we're going to work on those. It was the July Junk Journal of the Month kit. Last week we didn't have a class. The week before that we made the cover, and so we are going to do the signature tonight. That's what I'm going to focus on. After I do this signature, I'm actually going to make 2 more covers, and the reason why is because if I don't make them now, then I will get too far behind myself. So I'm going to make 2 more covers tonight. I made one in the first session. I'll do the signature in one of the journals. We'll talk about the digitals and the fact that I'm doing 3 different journals instead of just 3 of the same type of journals. I'll explain more as I show you guys when the camera is down on the desk. But anyway, hello and welcome. Thanks so much for joining. It is Friday. I hope you guys had a great week. I hope you're looking forward to the weekend. I am still busy working here. So the weekend really means nothing to me because I always have work, but so that's happening. There are 365 videos this week. I think we started on Wednesday with those this week. They will run through Sunday. That's already filmed. And then on Sunday, hopefully I have the day to film some more. At this point, I'm just trying to get it all in, get 48 hours of work into 24 hours, 7 days a week. So that's what I'm doing. Thank you guys for the love on the digitals. There is still digitals coming. I will show you a couple pages of one kit that I'm currently working on, but there are still digitals coming, mostly centered around ephemera. However, there is a digital kit that has pages in it that are all antique original items that I've scanned, and so that's the one I'm still working on, and that's the one I'm going to show you some pages of tonight. If you have already done your signature, don't worry about it. Your signature is beautiful. You don't need to go back and redo it. You don't need to worry about buying the digitals, whatever. If you've already done your signature because you worked ahead of me, then that's fine. Don't worry about it. And just so you guys know too, I will talk about this next week when I come back and start doing live sales. The junk journal kit for August. I'm not sure yet if I will be doing one or not. I may still be working on these journals in August. We'll have to play it by ear. The reason is, like I said, there's 48 hours of work in a 24-hour day. You know how I hired someone to help with some things. The person, I hired her and we were all set to go. And then we discovered that she has very bad cataracts and she cannot see. So this is like a big issue, right? You have to be able to see to do spreadsheets and all of that kind of stuff. So I am kind of left in a lurch because I did take quite a bit of time getting stuff set up for that person to come on board. And the reason I took time to do it is because A, I needed her, but B, because when she came on board, she would free up more time where I could get caught up again. So anyway, it's just a thing around here. It's constantly changing. It's all good. At the end of the day, we will find the right people. I do have another 2 people I'm talking to, so hopefully I can work that out, or I can get someone else in to relatively quickly fill that spot. That's the goal. I really would like it to happen this time. I get my hopes up and then something doesn't work out. It's happened twice now. Yeah. So the cataracts are bad, and there's another health issue which are preventing her from having the surgery for the cataracts. And she's a lovely person. There's no harm, no foul with that. Like, totally understand what happened, but it's something where she didn't realize, and I didn't realize either, that was going on. So anyway, I know. I know that you guys are seeing different things on YouTube. I have no idea. YouTube is always changing things. They're always adding features, and I know they recently added a bunch. So I have no idea what those are. I have seen them every time we've been live for the last couple of months, actually. I don't know. YouTube's always changing things. I'm sure you can Google it. Google will tell you why some people have crowns after their names. It's nothing that I'm doing. It's nothing that I'm enabling. There might be a feature enabled somewhere that I'm unaware of, but here, if you're not familiar with how YouTube works, here's what happens. You set up your channel, you do your thing. YouTube goes in and changes whatever YouTube decides to change, and they make that effective across your whole channel. So when they decide to put ads in every video, they decide to do it. And then it is up to you to go in and find that setting and turn it off or change it or whatever. So at this point, unless it interferes with something I'm doing, I just let YouTube do what YouTube is doing. It is a constant struggle because of all of the updates across all of the social media platforms to stay up to date with what Instagram is doing and what Facebook is doing, and all the rules change all the time. So, like I said, I just let it go unless it interferes with something. I really don't know. What are they? Jolly John seems to know. You can opt out of the XP crowns. I have no idea. I don't know what they are. I will do some research because I wasn't like on my side in the streaming software, I don't see them. But when I look at your comments in YouTube, I do see them. I will look at that. I should have already done that, but it didn't seem to be interfering with anything. So I just let it go. Anyway, I will figure it out and I will understand how people have crowns after their names. I should know, right? It's my YouTube channel, but I don't know. Like I said, if you paid attention to everything that, like every email that a social media channel will send you, you would have no time during the day. Because even either today or yesterday, YouTube changed something else and they were enabling another feature. Then there's features through Instagram and Facebook. And then there's also features through the streaming software. And it's just constant. You think my changes here are bad? Oh my gosh. Keeping up with all of their changes is a constant like treadmill of, what are the cat things that go in a circle? The mouse things. What are those called? Yeah, well, the word is escaping me, but a constant cycle thing. Yeah, that. Anyway, you are special. You are all special. I don't know why they give people crowns. I don't know. Maybe it has something to do with something you guys have enabled. I don't know. Someone will explain it to me or I will look later. How much you comment. I see. I see. All right. Well, I guess it lets me know who the people who comment most are. Now, I don't know if it means comment most on my channel or it just means comment most throughout YouTube. I don't know. Hamster wheel. Yes. Yes, that. Yeah. Oh my gosh. I want to do an August kit. I just cannot fit it all in. And I'm trying so hard to fit it all in because I refuse to give anything up, which we've talked about the accountant's point of view on me giving things up, but I refuse at this point to give it up. I'm just going to die trying, and that's really where we're at with it. So anyway, we're going to make a beautiful journal. They may be done towards the end of July. I will see. I have a lot of ephemera made. I'm going to make more ephemera. We are pretty far, like covers. If I get all 3 covers done tonight, signatures are pretty quick after that. I've already got ephemera. I think we're looking pretty good, but the problem isn't necessarily this kit getting done. The problem is me having time to make 150 new kits, plus the Italian paper order, plus the invoicing, packing, and shipping that is currently due on Monday. So yeah, there's a lot of moving parts. You guys know that because you've been here a while, but there's always a lot of moving parts. All right, so in the Facebook group, I posted, if you guys are watching for the first time and you have no idea what I'm talking about, the Facebook group is called Junk Journal Makers. It is a Facebook group that I created for people who make junk journals, and you can be in there. If you wish to be in there, just click the link in either in the description box or up in the chat box that's pinned at the top. There's a link there to the Facebook group. I think it's clickable. If it's not clickable, the one in the description box is clickable. I think. So anyway, everyone is welcome to become a member of the Junk Journal Makers Facebook group. Everyone can be there. It has members in it who you guys probably have seen their channels before. They're very, experienced junk journal makers. And then we have people who are brand new and they've never made a junk journal. So all different kinds of skill levels are in the Facebook group. And so we had a challenge in June. We actually had 2 challenges in June. They ran together, and one of them was called Finishing the Unfinished, where we're all trying to work on those unfinished projects. I have a million of them because the hamster wheel. But anyway, so one of them was Finishing Unfinished. The other one was Sharing is Caring, which is basically just posting anything that you made. And then, it's just sharing what you made. So those were the 2 challenges. I posted the winners of the challenges. Wendy Anderson and Carol Ann last name. Carol Ann, oh my gosh. I'll have to look. Carol Ann, and where is it? It's in here somewhere. There it is. Okay, I don't want to see insights. I just want to see the post. Also, Facebook changed my profile without me knowing. Carol Ann Howard. Those were the winners. Sorry for the blue light on my face. It's what happens when I open a screen. So anyway, congratulations to them. They both won Amazon gift cards. All of the challenges in the Facebook group, you always win an Amazon gift card. That way you can take that Amazon gift card, and if you really need groceries or laundry soap, you can get it. If you want to use it for a craft supply, you can get something that you actually would like, instead of me saying, oh, here, I want to give this away kind of a thing. So the prizes in the Facebook group will probably always be Amazon gift cards, just because I think some people, they might need groceries more than they need another craft supply. Some people might need a craft supply and, then they can choose what they want. So I just think that's a good way to do it. So anyway, that's the winners of the Facebook group challenge for June. We did not have a Facebook group challenge for July as of yet. I will probably most definitely do one for August. I haven't decided exactly what it will be, but I would like it to be something a little different than what we've done in the past. So y'all should go over and become members of the Facebook group because there's always stuff going on in there. Even when we don't have a running challenge, there is a lot of posts every day of people sharing what they make. And the reason why I call it Sharing is Caring is because when you share what you make, and what I mean by sharing, some people don't know what a Facebook group is. Some people don't have Facebook profiles anymore or at all ever. If you join Facebook, you can choose how much you want to interact with Facebook and other people. You can limit your interaction to just junk journal people. You can limit your interaction to just people in the Facebook group or people that you accept as friends so that you actually know them. Facebook has come a long way. It used to be kind of a free-for-all. It still is if you allow it to be, but if you restrict it down to just keeping the friends that are actual people you know and joining the Facebook groups that you actually want to be in, then you can keep that Facebook profile narrowed down to just junk journals if that's all you want to use it for. And so anyway, thank you guys. The Facebook group, there's always posts of, people making things, right? But when you share what you make, it literally means taking a picture. Usually most people do it with their cell phone because it's just easier. You take a picture with your cell phone and it can literally, your whole entire post can literally be just one photo of, here's this on my desk that I made. And that's it. You don't have to say anything if you don't want to. You could just post a picture. If you want to say, here's a pocket I made, or hey, I took this paper and I glued it here and I folded it here and whatever, you can be as detailed or as simple as you want in your post. The point of posting, though, some people don't want to share their work because the thing that I hear the most often is people are afraid to share their work because they don't think their work is good enough to share. That makes me really sad when I hear that, because everyone's work is good enough to share. And we all see how social media works. Sometimes someone will post something and it gets a million likes and hearts and everybody just gushes over it. And so when you see that, and maybe you're like, okay, well, I will post this tag that I made. And maybe your post of a tag, maybe it gets 2 likes. And you're like, well, they must not have liked my stuff. Maybe what I make is ugly. And you start second guessing yourself. And that's kind of the negative side of social media. But here's what I will share with you. Those posts that you guys are seeing, if you ever have seen one, which most of us have, that are getting the thousands of likes and gushes and everyone just, oh my gosh, it's amazing. I will tell you the insider part of that. These people that get so many likes, they have spent years building up social media profiles. The reason why they're getting all those likes is because they have put in the time to cultivate the audience that will see their post, first of all, because when you make a post, it's really shown to your friend group, however many people you interact with on these social media profiles. And so if you are fairly new on social media, your post is really just shown to your friends. And if you have 20 friends, your post might be shared to 20 friends. And yes, it is available elsewhere on the internet or on Facebook or wherever. But really, the posts that you're seeing that are getting all those likes, it's because the system is kind of rigged. The system is rigged to where people who put in the time on social media get the results from social media. And the people who might be new to sharing stuff on social media find it a very limited audience. And so my whole point with mentioning this is if you want the thousands of likes and watches and all these kinds of things, it takes time, a lot of time. You have to put the time into it to get the reward. And more than that, it takes months and months and years to cultivate that relationship with social media to where your posts are being exposed to that number of people and to where you are getting the likes like that, right? So if you're judging your work based off of other people who have spent years building up these social media audiences to get those thousands of likes or whatever it may be, that is a very apples to oranges comparison. So please don't compare your work and your sharing of your work to other people's sharing of their work, because the playing field on social media isn't even. It really is, you get out of it what you put into it. And some of us don't have unlimited time to spend on social media, and some of us don't care to. But if you're really, if you're really dead set on getting those thousands of likes, then you'll have to put the time into it. You'll have to cultivate the audience. And over the period of working very hard for years, you will probably see that result. But for most of us, we don't want that kind of life, right? For most of us, we want to share what we share because we want to share it. Maybe it inspires, maybe one person sees it and it inspires them to go in their craft room and make something. That's enough for me. It's probably enough for most people, but for some people, they want more. I get it, whatever. That's not bad or good. It's just what it is, right? So again, don't compare yourself to other people. Social media is not an even playing field. In the Facebook group, my Facebook group, all the Facebook groups are run differently, but in my Facebook group, I encourage you guys to post. If you're brand new and this is the first tag you've ever made, post it. Because I promise you, there are other people in my Facebook group that have also never made a tag before. And by seeing your tag, it will inspire them. Oh, okay, I really can do this. Let me give this a try. And I just, pull out a simple tag as an example, but every day in the 365 series, I show a different thing that you guys can make. A lot of you guys are posting your makes of it. And first of all, thank you. I love that. I love that you guys are trying the ideas. I also love that you guys are willing to share your take on it. And so when you guys are posting, you are showing other people, here's the way I made whatever I just made on the video, right? So if I made the belly band with the 3 pockets and you guys make the belly band with the 3 pockets, your belly band with 3 pockets is going to be different than my belly band with 3 pockets. And the fact that people can watch me make one and then people can see what you made, they're 2 different things. I might inspire one person, you might inspire another person. At the end of the day, the goal is to inspire others, to bring other people joy. At least that's my goal. It might not be everybody's goal, but that's my goal. To kind of sum up what I'm saying about social media, don't compare yourself to those channels, those people that you guys are seeing, because it's not even. Everybody's work deserves to be shared. Everybody deserves recognition for their work. That's a really big part of it. So every challenge I've ever had, I've asked you guys to participate in the challenge. It's not just about, here's what I made, here's what I made, here's what I made. The other half of the challenge was always, you have to comment on other people's makes to support them making, right? It's just politeness. And I know on social media, politeness is kind of hard. Sometimes you don't see a lot of politeness, good manners. Sometimes it's easy to see and focus on the negative. There is a lot of positive. However, part of the challenge was that you guys also needed to support other people who were making. And so I think I'm trying, in my mind at least, I'm trying to balance the show what you've made and then support other people, because we all deserve that love. We all deserve that, you know, somebody liking what you made. We all deserve that feeling. And social media is a big place, and there are really big channels or really big makers out there with names, and they do get the thousands of likes and whatever. And it's really easy to look at them and be like, well, my stuff only got 1 like, so it must be bad, or I must have made it wrong, or whatever. That's not the case. The case is those channels and those other people have spent more time and effort building up an audience. It's not the same thing. I would just ask you guys to post what you made, no matter what it is. If it's something completely off the wall that is different, post it, because I promise you there is someone else out there who will see your post, who will like it, genuinely like it, and who will be inspired by it to go and create something different. We don't all have to make the same thing. We don't all have to have the same style. There's a million different styles of junk journals. So just post, whether you're posting in my Facebook group, whether you're posting wherever you're posting, it doesn't matter. Just post, because posting is sharing your work with others so others can see and appreciate. Maybe they'll leave you a comment and a like or a heart or whatever the case. But most people, they're busy, they're just scrolling through, they'll see it and it will tuck in the back of their mind. And next time they want to create something, maybe they'll sit down and create it. And we all have to get inspiration from wherever we get inspiration from. Inspiration is hard. Sometimes you just don't feel inspired. So by posting, you're inspiring others, you're helping other people to be creative. Being creative is a big stress relief for a lot of people. It's just an overall good thing. So anyway, that's the whole talk on that. That's the TED Talk for that. Just post. I don't care where you post. I don't care what you post as long as it's appropriate. But yes, just post. And that's that. I know you guys are all very supportive of each other, and you guys have been very supportive of me. Thank you for your support for me. And I really love the fact that you guys are supportive of each other. That makes me the most happy and kind of proud sometimes when I see in the Facebook. It's weird, but it's like a mom proud kind of thing, where you're proud that people are being supportive of each other in a space that you created. That makes me happy. It makes me feel like, okay, all those late nights are worth it. Anyway, enough on that. We're going to make some lovely junk journal things today. So I'm going to make covers. I'm going to make a signature, sew it in. Then if there is time left, which I'm not sure there will be, we will make some ephemera. Are you guys ready? Oh my gosh. No Chippendale. Well, I didn't even If you want to make a Chippendales junk journal, you go ahead and make it. but it may not be post approved. Certain images may not be post approved. But again, if you want to make that junk journal, and I know it's a joke, but if you guys want to make that junk journal, then make it. Whatever it is that inspires you, that you feel like creating, do it. It doesn't matter if it's different. It doesn't matter if you haven't seen anyone do it before. Honestly, some of the things that no one's ever seen before are the best things. So you never know till you try it, right? So yeah, there's that. I have not. I'm here and I have not. No, I haven't billed for anything yet. I think the first round of invoices are coming out on Monday. After, and I don't know if it'll be Italian paper first or if it will be the regular live sale stuff first. But next week, invoices for everything will be out. Everything will be packed and shipped. We will have sales next week. They may be smaller. I'm not sure exactly what I will bring next week. I will work that out, but there will be sales next week on Tuesday and Thursday, and invoicing for Italian paper and live sales will all come out and ship next week. I am still sorting purchases. We were working on that just before I was live. I want to make a purple journal too, and I want to make it as a kit for everyone to make together. Not everybody loves the color purple, so if I make a purple kit and you don't want to make a purple journal, use what you want out of it, separate it out into, places in your craft room where stuff is stored. It doesn't really matter if I call it a purple journal. You can still make it a blue journal if you wish. It's just going to have some purple things. Anyway, so we're going to make purple journal as a kit. We'll do it together. I don't know why, and this is a phenomenon, but I don't know why purple journals, you guys might know, and there might be a really obvious reason which may have just occurred in my head, but I don't know why purple, the color purple, has been like separated out. And there's this thing with making a purple journal. You don't really hear of people making a green journal or a yellow journal. But purple seems to be like, I want to make a purple journal. Maybe there is a reason, but it escaped me and it just popped in. So maybe, but I don't know. I hear a lot of other people wanting to make purple journals, and it always has struck me as strange because it's like, I don't ever remember somebody saying, I want to make a green journal. I don't know. Anyway, purple will be fun. We have boho coming up. Boho, there's a fall, there's a Christmas, obviously. Christmas, if you do not want to do Christmas, we will have 2 kits at once so you can pick and choose, because I don't want to leave anyone out for that. Color of royalty, that's right, it is. But that wasn't the reason in my head. But anyway, purple and teal, that's lovely. What was it? Teal and peach were my wedding colors. That kind of gives you an idea of when I was married. Teal and peach, very 90s. Anyway, what were your guys' wedding colors? And then I swear I'm going to switch this camera down. We're going to get started. Is there anything else I need to talk to you guys about? Very 90s, I know. With the wedding dress with the poofy sleeve. Yes. Mm-hmm. Dusty rose, another 90s. Yep. Burgundy and gray. That's beautiful. See, I think you also should say that the decade where you were, which you were married in, because that will help with the color scheme. Flannel. Flannel is always good to get married in. It's comfy. Now, maybe you mean like tartan flannel, maybe? 1992. Yep. Very similar. Wow. Very beautiful, guys. Beautiful. Look at you guys. Pale yellow and light green for the 70s. See what I mean? Yep. Almost. And I know you didn't say avocado, but that avocado green, I think that was like 60s, 70s. The avocado kitchen appliances. Okay. Who here still has an avocado green original appliance? Either a washer, dryer, they may have had dishwashers, refrigerator, I don't know what else came, avocado stove, avocado green. Who had it? Who has currently still has an avocado green kitchen appliance, including washer dryer? I don't consider them kitchen, but they were back then probably. So, yep, 70s with orange. The KitchenAid mixer, yep. Nobody has the original avocado. It's been a long time since I've seen it. Honestly, I see it almost every night as I'm falling asleep because I'm still just playing for background noise. The Everybody Loves Raymond series, and Marie, the mom, has avocado green stove, I think. Maybe washer and dryer too. I don't remember, but that's the last time I've seen it. And I think the Brady's might have had orange, like a burnt orange. I don't know. Anyway, first apartment had it all. Yep. Bathing suits, Hawaii. Ooh, awesome. The copper, lovely. I know. I like looking at Marie's kitchen because it is all of that 60s slash, I think it's hers is 60s stuff. Yeah. Orange everything. They were. Yep. Okay. That was enough reminiscing for me. The bathtub was avocado green. That would have been interesting. I don't like avocado green that much to have an avocado green bathtub. Yeah. Oh, that would be like bathing in pea soup. I don't think I could do it. I didn't think I could do it. Anyway, a retro, I had planned on one, and Joey the card maker came out with a beautiful like retro kit, and I was going to do it. I have a whole bunch of fabric, retro original fabric from like the 70s stashed somewhere. I need to find it. The yellow, awesome. Pink. I think at one point we had a light blue toilet, but I'm not positive. Vaguely tucked in the back of my mind as a kid, I remember a light blue, like turquoise blue toilet. I know we had a turquoise blue phone on the wall, so probably we also had a toilet. Maybe there was a sink and a bathtub. I don't think the bathtub was, though. I don't know. It was too long ago and now I'm too old. Anyway, I'm going to switch the camera down. We're going to get started. Thank you guys for, bearing with me. I need to figure out where my camera is. Thank you for bearing with me with all of the reminiscing there. All right. So retro would be, although I don't know, I have to make the kits to where they will appeal to 150 people. And so I'm constantly like, yes, it would be fun to do, but maybe this is a me project and not a group project because it won't appeal to everyone. Anyway, that was kind of the situation with this one. Was there is a little bit, I'm getting a little bit of backlash for my color scheme. And while I'm not going to go down the road of, I'm not going to go down the political road. I am just going to say to those of you who are upset with my color scheme, I don't want to get into it very deep. I just want to explain to you that you don't have to love everything I do. If I've made a color scheme that upsets you in some way, please accept my apology. It is just a journal that I wanted to make, so I made it for us to make as a group. It was not designed with any intent and purpose other than a French country journal. And so that's all I'm going to say about that. And I would appreciate the comments also remaining very like, okay, she said it, let's move on. If it upsets you in some way, I have apologized. I just made a French country journal and it was never intended to upset anyone with a specific color scheme that you can see here. Anyway, we're moving on. I don't know what else to say about it. I'm constantly trying to make everybody happy. Okay, so these first pages here is the current junk journal kit that I am still in the process of making. Let me give myself some room. So these pages are not available yet, but they will be available soon. Okay. I'm trying. The next kits are these pages, which are all original antique things, and ephemera. So there is an ephemera kit coming, and these pages. These pages are nearly done. The ephemera kit is not nearly done, but I'm trying. Whether we get it done and we use it for this one or not, I'm just going to do my best. So anyway, one of the pages is this original French letter, and it is a folded letter. So it was originally folded like this. But look at this beautiful scene up here. It's dated, it's beautiful, and it has a blank page, which I also love because we always look for journaling space, and it's kind of like a tea-dyed color, and we don't have to tea-dye it. I did print this is from a farmer's almanac, a French farm, yeah, be careful, a French farmer's almanac. We gotta be real careful with those words. And so I have taken the month of July from that almanac and printed it here. And again, when it's in a junk journal, you'll see that side. You'll see that side and that. So anyway, this is one of the pages, all original stuff. This is it was an end paper out of an antique French book. And I printed this. This is a typography specimen onto the backside. This is beautifully aged. I love it. So I love this one. So there's that. That'll be a page. Then remember when I found, did I bring it in here? I didn't bring the original in here. But remember when I found this document? It's like an antique French legal document. And I said, oh, this is perfect for this kit. I need to scan it. Well, I did. And so here is the cover of it. On the other side of this cover, I have printed the July, if you got one of the regular agendas, the French agendas, these are July pages from the French agenda. So again, it will be perfect journaling space. And you get this loveliness on the backside. It's a legal document from 1892, and it has this beautiful red and white cover to it. There is another page. This is the backside. So the way that this went, you pick it back up. The way that this went is something like this. It said 1892 down the spine of it. I couldn't get it to flatten out enough to do that without unbinding it, and I didn't want to unbind it. So I have the front cover and the back cover, and on the back cover, I have scanned some of the embroidery, the French embroidery pattern. We get some names down here, some scrolly borders, and of course some chickens and I guess some partial ducks here. But I'm going to, I think, shrink this down and put it inside the center here. I don't know. I'm still playing with it. But I think this one will go in the French farmhouse, the one with the animals journal. So anyway, there's that. And then this is, this ledger page, the first time I've shared any with you guys was in the prayer card ephemera pack. So this is the ledger page from that. And I printed the French music, antique French music. This is called an antiphonal. And I printed that on the back side of it. So anyway, this is the page kit that's still being worked on. I think it needs a few edits. But anyway, there should be 10 pages when I'm done. And that's kind of what it looks like. So there's those. I will try my hardest to get them done in the near future, meaning hopefully in the next few days. I know. So these were the covers. This is the one where I used the ink and the water brush on, and I made a bunch of stains all over this to blend in what already was there. This is going to be my grungier farmhouse one with the farm animals. So I'm making 3 journals. Two will probably be more French country. I haven't decided. 1 or 2 will be French country, and 1 or 2 will be French farm with the animals. I want to split them so that if you don't want animals, you don't have animals. If you do want animals, you have animals. So anyway, this is the grungy cover. You can see I've grunged it up a lot by adding this is what we did in the first video of this series. This is one that hasn't been grunged up. You can see it does have some grunge. That's just natural, but that's kind of why I did this, so we could blend it. So anyway, there's 2 extra journal covers that need to be made. I hope to get to those tonight. But what we're here for is we're here for this one. We're here for, where did I put it? We're here for this one. This is my cover that I made last time we were together for Craft With Me. And so it's hard. I mean, it's kind of hard. It's pretty hard. It's a hard journal cover. And that's where we left off. Now, I know some of you guys have worked ahead of me. You've already decorated your covers, all that kind of stuff. You guys know that I do not like to decorate my cover until after I have sewn in my signature. And usually when I'm all done with the journal, because when you put that stuff on the front of it and you're flipping your journal open and you're working in here and you're trying to put it in a cradle and sew a signature in, all of this bulky, lacy, fabricy stuff, it's in the way. It also, because you're working in your journal, it's kind of has the potential to snag it, ruin it, pull stuff off, whatever. It's just unnecessary wear. So I don't usually decorate the cover of mine until I'm done, but I already did give you guys ideas for how I will be decorating it. But this is the cover that we're going to sew this signature into today. In this basket, there is ephemera. You will see some ephemera that you have not seen videos on yet, but you will be seeing videos on soon. And that's why I'm going to show you of that, because this is where we're at. This is where we're at. And so there's the rest of it. Okay. Though the ephemera is made in the 365 journal series, which is the daily videos on my YouTube channel, the same YouTube channel that you guys are watching on now. Let's talk about signature. Okay, who has questions? Who has questions at this point of the game? You don't have to wait. And nothing says you can't make a second journal. If you want to make a second, especially if we make this a July/August journal, you might want to make more than one. You might make one for you and one to sell or one to give away. Christmas is honestly I know it's July, but Christmas is right around the corner. From July till Christmas, I don't know what happens, but around here, it's like time is on fast forward and I cannot get caught up. So Christmas is right around the corner. You might want to be tucking away a journal or a journal kit to gift to someone at Christmas time. Anyway, so you could make another journal. This is a one signature cover because it doesn't have a spine. This is where I will sew my signature in tonight. You guys will see me do it. I have the tools here. We're going to do that after we assemble the signature, but it's a single signature because it doesn't have a spine. If you wanted to, you could have taken the kit that I made for you guys and built yourself a little spine here and put a couple signatures in. One of these days soon, I need to do that. I need to pick a journal that I want to do that with, meaning one that I will have enough pages to fill multiple signatures. And we will do that in a video so I can show you my exact process, because it's a slightly different process than other people, I'm sure. But I will show you how to build a spine into a journal like this. But the kits that I do are mostly designed for a single signature. Sometimes there is options, you know, like this one where you could have added a spine because there was enough fabric and that kind of stuff. And so that one, I'm going to put all this digital, I'm going to put all of the digitals I included in your kit into one pack of ephemera plus a whole bunch of other designs you don't have into one kit on Etsy. That's the ephemera kit that will be coming. So that kit is probably a week away. The pages that I just showed you are probably a few days away. The pages are easier. The ephemera little bits take a little bit more time to edit because there's a bunch of smaller images, which if you're working in Photoshop, it's just a bunch of pages that you then shrink down. So anyway, ephemera will come and it will include everything that came in the kit. For a single signature journal, I'm aiming for 15 to 20, 15 pages is my goal. If I do slightly more than that, if they're thin, that's okay. I don't usually ever put more than 20 pages in a single signature journal. It's honestly too many. 15 is that perfect sweet spot. If you're doing multiple signatures, you guys always ask me in Facebook, if you're doing multiple signatures, how many pages do I put per signature? It depends on the total number of signatures. The more signatures you make for a journal, the less pages you want in each signature. So if you're doing 3 signatures, you might put 7 pages, maybe 8 to 9. It depends on how thick your pages are, but you might put, just say 7 pages for 3 signatures. So 7 pages times 3 would equal 21 total pages. And then you would times that by 4 to get sides. But anyway, if you were going to do 5 signatures, you might only do 5 pages per signature, because the more signatures you have, the less pages you put per signature. And that's to keep it from getting gator mouth and to keep your signatures from being too thick to fit in that little spine that you made. Okay? Did I miss any other questions? You can ask us a question about making a journal right now, but if it's asking about selling a journal, you can ask it. The selling of the journal is a long answer usually. You can ask. Just if you have a question, let's get them out right now. Let's do it. Did I miss anybody else's questions? If you guys have questions for me, if you put them in all caps, it just helps me pull them out and see them. Let's see. They are cute. I think they need to be on a different background though, or maybe I need to kind of tint the background because it is a little bit white. The scanner that I scan with is the scanner on the top of the 3850 printer. That's what these things were scanned with. I don't always scan on that one, but these things were scanned with that. The Epson ET3850 printer has a scanning bed on the top of it. That's the one. I think. I'm scrolling. There are kits in the Etsy store now, and I will show you those pages because I'm using them in my signature tonight. There are 3 kits in the Etsy store right now. There's pages, there's lace pages, and there's farm pages. There might be more than 3. I don't know. I put a bunch of kits in there the other day. I'm scanning at the max that scanner will do, and then I'm changing, I'm upscaling after I scan. So it's a multiple step thing, but scan at the highest resolution, which the lower the DPI, if I might say this backwards, but I think the lower the DPI is the higher the resolution. I'm scanning at the max that will do, and then I'm running it through upscaling software. The Epson ET3850. There will be a closure on this journal. I won't know till I'm done what kind, but there will be one. There might be 4. I have no idea. Yes. You're going to see me do it here. So if you are new to this, you'll see me do it. And so when I say 15 pages, it's really hard for me to stick to 15 pages. And you will see that I don't count every page as a page. I try to cheat as much as I can and get as many things into this journal as I can. So you will see. And yes, I always fold things in half, or I fold them in some manner, usually in half. Yeah, there probably are 4. Okay, let me get my chair. Let's get started working on the actual before I get my chair, did I bring copy dyed paper in here? Because I meant to pull it. I have a few sheets. I have 1. We have 3, but I need to run and grab copy dyed paper, which is just in the hall. Unless Yeah, I need to run and grab coffee dyed paper. I hope that's the last thing I forgot to grab. Give me 1 second and I will go grab this. It's literally just in the hallway. Okay. I hope you guys are having a good Friday. Good end to the week. Hopefully you guys had a good week. And if you didn't have a good week, then at least it's Friday. At least it's over. Some weeks, like the last week, the week before this week, I was just happy that it was over. It has been a crazy time around here, as you guys know. Okay, let's do this. I brought in a pile of coffee dyed. So tonight I'm just going to work on one journal. I'm going to do those other covers, but I'm only going to make a signature for one. I don't want to have to like make 3 signatures because like I said, some journals will have farm animals in them. Some journals will not. The one I'm doing tonight will not have farm animals in it, but you will see me do the signature for the farm animal one in a video, and you will see me sew that in and start working with that journal as well. When I make multiple journals, I try to show you guys them as much as I can because usually each one is a little bit different. So anyway, cover is done over there. This is ready to be sewn in. And if you haven't, watched the first video, you want to put some type of fabric down the center here. And that is because of the splitting of this paper here. If you want to figure out exactly how I've done this cover, where the fabric is wrapped around all 4 edges, it's wrapped around all of the edges on the outside, and it's a harder, book cover. Just watch that first video. All of these lives are always on my channel for forever. So if you have to miss a class or you want to rewatch some point at something, they're on there. The channel, it's called Inked Paper Art. Most of you are watching. Some of you are probably watching on Facebook. But anyway, it's called Inked Paper Art. And under the live section, that's where these videos are because they're being done live. I'm live right now. This is real. So when I'm done with this live, tonight when we're done, we finished our time together, it will just become a recorded video, but it still stays under the live section. So some people can't find them. The live section is either scrolled down or scrolled across the top. It depends on the device you're watching on. So those videos will be there. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to look at the digitals that I've chosen for this signature. So I chose, sorry, Mrs. E. Few days of vacation. I am getting very jealous of all of the vacation photos. Well, congratulations. I'm glad that you got a vacation, a couple days of vacation. Okay. So this is one of the digitals, and all of these pages, I think on this side are mine. So this is the digital that I put in there. Put a bird. And on the other side of this bird, this is a Roxy Creations, and I chose it because of the colors. So there's that. I always mix up kits. I never use like all one kit through and through the whole journal. I like variety, right? And when you design a kit, it's all kind of themed the same, and you need a little something to break it up, in my opinion. Anyway, this is another one of mine. Has a farmhouse. This is a Roxy. Again, I'm just choosing from color. I don't care who makes it. It's just based off color and will it work. This is probably one of my favorite pages I made. There's that one. And this is my ledger. So there's a ledger digital in Etsy also. It has several different pages of some of my favorite French ledgers. So we've got ledger with the blue stripe on a page with blue. This is again mine. This is Roxy, and I wanted some different colors. I didn't want it to stay too much the same, right? Like we need some kind of variation. So there's that. Then there's this one, again, mine, mixed with this one is Ruby and Pearl. This is Ruby and Pearl. And again, I chose it because it's blue. This is my French country lace. And this is Roxy Creations. Again, just chose for color. This is mine. And Roxy. Again, color. Mine. And this is mine. So this is the blue letters that are listed in Etsy. I use this one a lot, and I will use the ledger a lot. So those are kind of like staples that just go with everything. So on this side, they're all my digitals. And on this side, they're all a bunch of different things and different colors and whatever. And I like it that way so that you can fold the pages of the journal in different directions so that there is more variety. Because if you look this way, it's all one color palette. If you look this way, very different. So right here, I think there are 8 pages. I'm going to count them with you, and we are going to fold them. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 8, 7, 8. 8 pages. And we're going to fold some of them where my digitals are face up, and some of them where other people's digitals, or in that case, my own digital again, are face up. So we're going to look at the way that, we want them as we build our signature and fold them in different directions. So there's that. That's digitals. I have 8 pages of digitals. It doesn't matter whose digitals they are. I have 8 pages of digitals there. That's just where I've started building this signature. I have some pages from the Florilegium book. These are actually folios. I'm going to use 1 folio in this signature. I just need to decide which folio I want. That's more farmy to me for whatever reason. These 2 are more farmy, so I'm going to save these for farm journal if I make 2. And this one is the one we're going to use in this journal. So there's that. 1 page of floral paper, 1 floral botanical book page folio, or a large page that you'll fold in half. It doesn't really matter, but 1 of those. Those are extras. They need to go there. Then the ledger page that came in your kit is this guy. So this is the ledger came in your kit. We're going to add that to the signature. Then we have the rag paper book pages, and I don't have exactly the same ones as you. I pulled a bunch out. This is the same as you. This is the same as you. This is the math page. These are different, and I just pulled them from my stack of books that are right over there because I couldn't find where the rest of these were. So anyway, I pulled some rag paper book pages. There's those. We'll put those in the signature. The Florentine paper, I've pulled a couple pieces of that, and I will put those in the signature. I have a piece of music paper. You all got one of these from the exact same book. I'm going to put that in the signature more than likely. And then I have this, which is a French legal document that I have printed on onion skin paper. And this is just something I have. It was from the December 2024 kit. If you have that kit, you have one of these. That is a physical kit. I printed these for you. They were in the December 2024 kit. I had some left over. I'm going to put it in this journal. So that's what I have pulled for pages so far. This is, it's a kind of a craft colored newspaper advertisement paper bag. And I think I am going to fold it in half and put it in my journal, I think. So I'm going to go ahead and do it, and we'll see how I like it once I build my signature. I was going to tear it up and use the other thing that I was going to do is tear it up and use it just as little bits of collage. I think I probably still will do that with another one, but I'm thinking about putting it in my journal as an add-in. So in every journal I make, I put 3 add-ins. An add-in usually is an envelope, a bag, a paper doily, some kind of add-in that you can stick something else in. It's not really a paper page. It's something different, right? It's an add-in. I don't know what else to think about for an add-in, but I know you guys will think of a million things. I generally use a bag, an envelope, and a paper doily. They're just 3 little interactive fun things that people can play with that are not just another printed digital page. This is just my opinion, and it is probably an unpopular one, and I'm not trying to piss anyone off. Pardon my language, but in my opinion, the journals that are just printed pages folded in half with nothing that is interesting or different sized or different paper texture, I find those boring. Like I said, I'm not trying to piss anyone off, but I tend to find that if it's all the same size pages, same paper textures, I just get bored. I need some different things. Like this is and it's a vintage onion skin. It might be nearing antique, I don't know. It's vintage onion skin. It's a different texture. These things are different textures. The Florentine papers are different, and they will be different sizes. They will not all be the same size. The rag paper, you can instantly feel this is really old. It's kind of interesting, different things that are different sized, whatever. I try to put variety in there so that, in my opinion, it looks better, but they're more fun to work in as a journaler because you get a bunch of fun, cool things. I try to put antique documents in my journals also, ledgers, whatever, because again, it's different textures. It's just nice, I think. Anyway, that's my opinion. If you like making them with all same kind of pages, more power to you. It's just my opinion. Like I said, it's probably an unpopular one. But anyway, so now we're going to make some categories of pages. And where did I put them? And these. We also need coffee dyed paper, or if you don't use coffee dyed paper, there are some people that don't use the coffee dyed paper because they do not like the smell of it, or they have a sensitivity or whatever. Sometimes you can just buy paper that looks like this, but it's just printed and it doesn't have coffee on it. You could use like Easter egg dyed colored paper. You could use tea dyed paper. There's all kinds of fruits and vegetables you can dye paper with. I've talked about that many times, but some type of plain paper that you want to include in a journal so that the person can write on. It's like where they're going to do their journaling. They'll do journaling in other places, but it's nice to give them, I think, at least 3. If I'm doing a single signature journal, at least 3 pages of coffee dyed paper. And I like to get different colors and different patterns and tailor those little coffee dyed papers a little bit to the type of journal that I'm making. So for this one, I don't want something that's super dark. I'm looking for something that's more in the mid-tone. That's just, again, me being picky about stuff, but I am who I am. So anyway, the categories are add-ins. We have our 3 add-ins. I pulled 3, but I might pull a 4th one here in a moment. And if you're ever trying to fold a bunch of pages for a signature, just fold them together, line them up and fold them together, and then separate them out. And then give that a harder crease once they're separated. It just speeds up instead of folding 1, 1, 1. So add-ins, coffee dyed paper. Next are digitals. And I've done this a bunch on camera too, so if I'm boring you, just bear with me. If making 2 or more signatures, how many add-ins would you put in per signature? Well, it depends on how many pages in your signature, but I would probably put 5, at least 5 in a 3 signature journal, 5 interactive, whatever add-ins, and you can space them wherever they fit. Per signature, it does get kind of hard to add, 2 or 3 because you'll naturally want to even them out, and it does get a little hard. So in 3 signatures, I would probably put 5 interactive add-ins. When I mean interactive, like it's a bag that you stick something in, it's an envelope that you stick something in. A paper doily isn't really interactive other than texture, I guess, but so in 3 signatures, 5. If you were doing 2 signatures, I would probably still do 5 over in total, not per signature. I don't iron the copy dyed paper. I stack it. I would just stack it under books. When I made tons and tons of copy dyed paper, I just stacked it under books. So ironing, I mean, if you have to sit there and iron every single paper, you're going to be unhappy. And I think there's far more better things to do with your time. Just make your copy dyed paper, let it dry, and then stick it under a heavy stack of books overnight. And then in the morning, when you wake up, it is flat. Now, if you let your copy dyed paper sit out for a couple days and then try to stick it under books, it will flatten some, but it is not going to flatten all the way. You have to stick it under the books the same day that it is made and let it sit overnight. You know, it needs to be some moisture in the paper still for those books to press it down. So let's do this one like this. And I'm just kind of looking at, you know, how I would want the pages to look as I'm flipping through these. There's not really a right or a wrong. It's just how I think I'm going to use them. And then when we assemble this signature, I will probably end up flipping some backwards and changing my mind, but at least this gives me a jumping off point, you know, where I would like to see her and then the page will open this way, that kind of a thing. Let's do this one like this. And this one, let's do like, we can't have her upside down. Let's, I'm going to put her inside. I'm going to put her inside. I am. Okay, this is the only one I didn't fold in half, and it's because I'm playing with the idea of folding it here and binding it in the journal that way so that I can have this wrap around as a, let me just do it. I don't know for sure if I want to, let me see. I'm going to fold it and sew it in the signature on one of these lines so that I can have her as a page without having to fold her face. So some of the pages have the focal point in the center. You are always welcome, you know, encouraged, whatever, to fold them. Like if I folded it right here, we would still have a page with her on it, and we would have two flip outs or hinges where you will add an additional page later or whatever. It could be folded over as a tuck. So you have options. If I do it this way, this is on that side, and I would rather have that still showing. So I'm going to fold it here. And where exactly I need to fold it, I don't want it to stick out in my journal. So I'm going to fold it like this. And that's just where she is for right now. And then this one, I want to fold this way. And I do want to fold it on that line. And the easiest way is to just fold it where you can see the line and then flip it around the other way. So that's how that's getting done. We folded it where we can see it. So you really have this on one side. But now I'm going to flip this around this way because I want to see that little bit of ledger there. And we'll have that we can look at. I could still put it around this way. It just depends. Once it's in the journal, I will know. But this is where it's getting sewn in, right here. This is a flip. I can glue it down. I can make it a tuck. But this is where it's getting sewn in. And then we will just have this little page to do something else with later. So there's that. That's the only one where I folded any other way other than just in half. And again, it is nice if you have the mental capacity to sit there and figure out all your folds and fold them in different areas to get different sized pages. I think that is nicer. I don't have the capacity to do that for every journal. 1 or 2 pages I might do, but I'm certainly not going to sit there and be like, oh, I want this one folded, trifold. It's just not me. So anyway, there's our digital pages. That's what that looks like. So that's another category. We have 3 categories so far. Now we're going to do these guys, all these add-in special papers, whatever. You'll notice this is a legal size piece of paper. It is super long. So Wavy edges are neither good nor bad. It's just a personal taste. Some people like the waviness. It makes things look a little bit older, a little more aged maybe. It's just personal taste. And if they're wavy, great. If they're not wavy, great too. I don't care one way or another on the dyed paper. Okay, let's add this in here. We're just going to make it a little bit smaller. And we'll fold this in. I don't exactly know where I want that yet. So let's just leave it and we'll figure out which way I want this. So let's leave that for now. But I do want to fold there. This is where I'm going to sew it in. And whatever I end up doing over here, we'll do once we assemble the signature. And then we need to put these Florentine papers in. The blue one is small enough where I can just fold it. The red one is the super big page. And I think these were originally cut down in half or something. This is too tall and too wide. But what I would like to do, I'm going to size it for width here. Let's make it there. Let's go ahead and fold up the bottom. So that we can have little pockets. I know my fleur-de-lis will be upside down, but I might be able to live with it. So we'll have a pocket page. And then this guy, we're just going to fold in and make sure he doesn't stick out when this one is over top. So I can use the full page. I might change my mind on this later, but it's going to get sewn in here. And this will be an extra little flippy thing or whatever. But there's that one. Okay. So for our add-ins, we've done some different folding. We have this piece of music paper. If I fold it in half, it's going to be too wide and it will stick out. So you will need to tear off this edge, which is exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to fold it in half. Then I want a torn edge here. I need to bring, if I bring a digital page over, I don't want this music paper to stick out more than the digitals. So I'm going to fold it to get a line. And it doesn't matter where, just fold it. Just as long as it's not going to stick out. And once you have a line, just tear it. And if it tears rough, all the better. Like I'm trying to purposely be a little rough with it to give it that little bit of a jaggedy edge. That's great. That's awesome. We're going to leave that there. I just used Roxy and there was one page from Ruby and Pearl, other backsides from Roxy, and other backsides were the other digital kits in my Etsy. So there was the blue letters in my Etsy, and this one is the ledger that's in my Etsy. So those are backsides. There we go. Okay, so this guy goes in this category. We're doing this specialty paper category. So we've got those. That's in there. Book pages and ledger go in here too. These book pages are all the right size. I don't need to do anything with them. This guy you all got in your kit, and he's just going to get folded in half. And did you guys feel the texture on this page? You guys can see the texture. I can see it in my camera anyway. See the texture on this paper? This is my favorite kind of rag paper. It has such a lovely thick texture to it. Anyway, so there's that. Came in your kit. This also came in your kit. This is the French ledger page. This one is going to get torn in half right where it's folded. So I'm just going to fold it the other direction so that it will tear hopefully nice. And I'm just going to tear this bottom section off. This I can now use to make ephemera. It can be backgrounds for ephemera. Or I could have a second ledger page in my journal if I wanted to. I'm not sure yet. For now, I'm going to set it to the side, but we're going to use this one because I for sure want these French headers. It's a French country journal. We have to have like the the usual French ledger, right? So anyway, I folded it in half. This is the page in my specialty category. So this is my specialty category. These are my digitals, my copy dyed pages, and my add-ins. The only thing that is missing from my usual category system is authentic, antique, paper, or documents, whatever. And I kind of just blended them into this category. We have the ledger, we have the book page. I didn't really add very much else in because I don't think I can fit it. Not for pages. What I want to do with the antique ephemera for this journal is to tuck it into pockets and clip it to the sides of pages. So there still will be a lot of antique ephemera. There's some in here, but most of it's going to be removable where the person who buys this journal can take it out, move it around, take it out, use it in a different journal, scan it, hoard it, whatever they want to do with it. But at least it won't be sewn into the signature. Okay. The rag paper, I know that one was a good one. All right, so let's assemble this signature quick. I've talked about this before. I'm going to grab some water. You just want to separate out your digital pages. What you're focusing on is your digital pages. You want to separate them so that no two digital pages, no two printed pages are touching each other. You want to pick out what page you want for your center spread, and you want to pick out the very first page that you want to see when you open up the cover of your journal. So start with your digitals and get that sorted. Pardon my sips of water. It's Arizona and I'm parched. Anyway, so it's nice when you're trying to decide what you want for that very first page to look at your journal cover. Sorry, I'm a little off camera tonight. It's nice when you're trying to decide what you want that very first page when you open up your journal, the very first page. If you pull out your cover and you look at your cover and you decide what you want to see when you open it up, I might want to see this lady right here. She is kind of one of my favorites. So maybe that. The way that I have the rest of these folded, I wouldn't want this. It's too much blue and it's upside down, but I wouldn't want it. It's too much blue. So I could fold this back around and put that there if I wanted her there. But for now, we'll just skip it. I mean, this is okay. You know, that's okay. This one might be nice because you do get the hints of red around the cover with the hints of red here. So that one might be good. That's an option. This again is too much blue. Now you could have that, but I mean, it's fine. You could have it. That might look nice there. This one, I don't want these colors next to this, so I would say no to that. Again, I don't, it's too busy, too much, so I'll say no to that. This one is nice. I think this one might actually be pretty perfect because it kind of gives you all of this, but it is pretty matchy-matchy and it blends in. So for me, that's a no. Now there is stuff on the insides of these, and again, you could turn them around and make it work. But I have two options here. So I will use this one or I will use this one as my first page. I need to decide. Do we want this right here in the front? I think I'm going to use this one. I like the hint of red. I like the fact that we get the red. I'm good with it. So I'm going to use this one for now, reserving the right to change my mind to this one. I also like, I might use this one. I like that this one is a little narrower, so I'm going to see whatever page I put back here too. So for now, I'm going to leave her as the page I want to open my journal up to and see, the first page. And we're going to open that up. And now we're going to start layering the pages from our categories. We have these categories and we're going to start layering them inside of our first page. So now I need to think about what I want to see peeking out from the side of her. And I don't want to use another digital because we don't put two digitals together. We could put coffee dyed paper. I mean, it's okay, but you know, it's not going to be very decorative right here. So for me, that would be a no. I want to see something peeking out right there. So we need to look in this category. And we could put this and it will peek out. You can see just a hint of it. That looks kind of nice together. So we could put that. It doesn't peek out very much. Let's leave that there for now. Unless we want to put this one. Nope, you won't see it. I think the red one is going to do it. So let's leave that there. The only other thing I was thinking about is music paper. You could see where your music paper would stick out, maybe possibly, depending on if you didn't tear off so much. I'm going to use the red. So there's what I've got so far. Opening it up. We'll just leave that where it's at for now. I do think I want to put the music in there. And I'm just going to keep folding back and forth and looking at what I have and trying to figure out exactly where I want it. I might want to go this way. So basically you're just looking at how your papers are falling right here. And I want to see that music paper and I'm not seeing it. So I'm actually going to fold it over just a little bit more. Refolding my paper just a little more so I can see that peek out the edge. There we go. Now I am happy. I am happy, she says. I am more fussy than probably anyone else on the planet when it comes to doing this. I just am. I cannot make something that I am not happy with. It doesn't happen. So I have decided on this lady, this red one, and this music. Now right here, I want to put an add-in and a coffee dyed paper. And I like to get the doily out of the way pretty early on. We also need to get some book page. So we're going to do this situation like that. Then we're going to open. It's time for a digital. We need to choose a digital from our pile of digitals. It doesn't matter really which one at this point. We had a digital that had a lot of blue. So I might choose a digital that has a lot of red just to keep things looking different. And I have these two that have red. Let's go ahead and use this one. Reason why is because I don't want to end up having these two pages because they're very similar, close together. So I'm going to get one right out of the way in the beginning, and then I will come back to this one later on, towards the middle of my signature. Okay, so we've got this. Now we should get book page in here because we have a lot of book page. The book page does need to be, sturdied up. So before we move on, let's just take that moment to make this sturdy. And you guys know, if you've watched me for a while, I use this fabric medical tape. Barb. The crowns, we talked about that in the beginning. Apparently they're for how often you comment. YouTube does it. I have no idea. They don't tell me. They may have sent me an email at some point. I don't know. But anyway, I don't do it. I don't control it. It is something within YouTube. So we're going to sturdy up our rag paper book pages. And I use this medical tape to do it. I've linked it before for you guys. It's on Amazon. It's in my favorites thing. If you guys can ever find my favorites thing, which they like to hide it. I don't know why. So take your book page, whatever kind of book page you're using. Even pages that don't have holes or don't have, they weren't sewn into a signature, like that music paper that we folded, some of those can get crackly where you fold them. And you might want to strengthen those as well. just so that they don't end up falling apart when you make your book. So I measure out the medical tape and cut it. I leave it long. Then I take the medical tape, and you can just run it over the top of your glue stick, but I have been getting glue on my fingers and I don't want to. So I'm going to do it this way today. And I just get some Oohoo down the center of that medical tape. I know the medical tape is already sticky, but it is not sticky enough for generations or whatever, is going to happen to this journal. So then you take your medical tape, and see this page in particular, it has a big old hole missing. That's not going to matter when you do this method for sticking tape on there. It's going to fill in that hole. I'm going to try to position it as best as I can. And it's going to fill in that hole. And it's filling it in with something that is going to be invisible. It's going to look like book page. And it's going to be very sturdy. So in this instance, you can see how much that medical tape is covering. And because this has a giant hole, I'm going to do another piece down the back side. In general, you really only have to do one side. I usually just do both because I like to overbuild my journals. I would rather they be super sturdy than maybe possibly falling apart. So, you might not have to do both, but I'm just going to do both. It just takes a second. The medical tape isn't expensive. The blue that you're seeing will dry clear because it's just the color of the glue while it's wet. And then you go down this side and smooth it together. So now we've really reinforced that book page and it's good to go. Nothing will ever happen with it. Trim off your excess across the bottoms and top and you're good to go. So we did that one. I knew that we were going to have to do that one. I don't know how many other ones of these we'll need done. Let's do this one. I'm fine with. This one I'm fine with. This one I'm going to reinforce. It's just a little thinner of a paper and it does have some bigger holes and we're already here, so we might as well. But there's reinforcing book pages. I have done this. I have done all of this every time we built a journal because my process really doesn't change. I've made journals long enough. This is what works for me. And so that's what I do. When you're making journals, you're going to find a process that works for you. And maybe the way I'm teaching, it doesn't work for you. Maybe something else does. And that's just, it's just different people doing it different ways. There's not a right or a wrong. And if somebody else is out there and they're teaching a different way, more power to them. We all learn and figure out what we like, and then that's what we do. Now on this one, I don't need to do down both sides. It really probably didn't need reinforced in the first place, but I'm just gonna do one side of it. When this is dry, and I will show it to you when it's dry for those of you who haven't seen, the reason why I use the white medical tape is because it will dry once the glue is dry. It will dry clear and you will not even really see that it is reinforced. And when it's sewn into a signature, you really don't see this area anyway, but we know it's reinforced now and it will be sturdy. So there's that. Our pages are reinforced. What ones needed it? And we're to this guy and we were going to use him. So there's that. Just got your tape. It's awesome tape. There's so many uses for it. You can stamp if you want, like you could use washi tape too, but washi tape, if you're going to use washi, make sure you add Oohoo glue stick to it because washi tape doesn't stay stuck forever. And also washi tape, it's a little shiny. It's a little different looking. This is matte and it really does disappear on your paper. But you can also stamp on this or ink this or decorate this if you want more pattern or texture. But anyway, it is awesome tape. So we're going to use this guy. He is still drying, but I'm going to go ahead and fold him. I'm looking at the way he's supposed to fold. I'm going to go ahead and fold him, and we're going to put him in this journal signature. We're going to move on. Thank you guys for saying that you like the way that I teach it. I didn't fold that very straight, but Perhaps this old page is not straight. We're good. This is the back side. This is the front side. So there's our signature. I don't really need it in this book anymore, but let's just leave it in there for now, I guess. We're already this far. We might as well. So there's that. I'm going to close up this glue stick if I can find where I stuck the... Here it is. Where I stuck the lid. All right, moving on. Somebody asked, is there a difference between the white Uhu and the blue Uhu? The white Uhu, for whatever reason, the white Uhu glue stick, for whatever reason, it is less expensive, and I don't think it is as sticky as the blue one. I have had the white one because sometimes the blue one is out of stock at my Amazon warehouse, and the only way you can get overnight glue sticks is to get the white one. Every time I've done it, the white has not been as sticky as the blue. It wasn't as wet of a glue stick, and it wasn't as sticky. But the thing that I find most often, if you're finding that your glue stick, whatever one you're using, isn't staying, the pieces that you're using aren't staying stuck, if they're coming off, it's because you may have had a ceiling fan on or air conditioning or something. When you put your glue stick on, it may have dried before you actually stuck whatever you're sticking to something, right? It may have actually dried, or you didn't get enough glue stick on to begin with. So go heavy, go super heavy. The blue helps you see where you have glue and where it is thick enough, because if it's light blue, you know you probably need to add more. So I like the blue because you can see it. I like the blue because it's wetter and it is stickier, in my opinion. There are people who will probably tell you they're the same. They should be, but why is the white one cheaper? And why does everyone say it's not as sticky? I don't know. But that's my 2 cents on the glue stick thing. Okay, there's that. Tea dyeing now. Ooh, beautiful. Beautiful. All right, moving on to what we need here. We have copy dyed paper, we have a digital, we have book page. Let's add this guy. Let's add this guy. So there's that. Now we're going to put another digital in here, and I think I want this one, but I do want to see what this one. Too much color, too much flower. This again is too heavy with pattern. Let's do the blue. The blue in the blue looks nice. Let's do that. So there's that. We now open up to red. We need to think about putting another interactive element in here. I've got this guy. We've got digitals. We've got book page. We are going to have to add book page because I have a lot of book pages. I will do total page count and explain my page count here in just a few minutes. I don't know if I want to do Florentine. Let's do Florentine. Let's just get it all crammed in there. Too much blue together. No on the Florentine. Let's do this guy. So I've just added a bunch of pages in here, and we need to do a copy dyed in the very near future. Let's see about doing copy dye here. See how I just have a big old mess of pages, and I just audition them and see what I like. I want this one because I like the way that the toastier color goes over top of the whiter paper. So that's why I'm doing that. Now I'm just going to leave this big for right now. We'll fold it later. So we need to get a digital and some copy dyed paper. We didn't pick out which one I wanted in the center. We kind of forgot to pick out that. So we need one of these digitals to go in the center. That has a nice center spread picture, doesn't it? So that one would be nice in the center. This one, you know, it could go in the center, but it's not really center-like. This one could go in the center. Again, there probably is a better option. This one could go in the center, but I think I'm going to put this guy here. So there's that. That looks nice there. Okay, so then we needed copy dyed. We added copy dyed there. Do we want something in between these two to kind of blend them together? Let's see what we have. We have a reinforced book page. We have ledger. Let's do the ledger here. Ledger looks good. We're good. Now we're going to do another digital. Let me see what this digital is. Can't open them. Let's go ahead and do that one. Okay. I've got this bag that needs to go in. I don't know if I want the bag against this. Let's do the bag against this guy. So this page goes in. That's fine. But I want this. The brown photo. It's like sepia toned photo with this brown bag. Let's do that. Now we have this. I could have it look like that. That's okay. Let's do the book page. Maybe we want this book page. It all depends on what you like best. Maybe I don't want anything covering it. Maybe I just want it like that. I don't know yet. Okay, so what is left in my pile? I have some book pages and I have 2 digitals and I have 1 copy dyed. That's why I said we might need to add another copy dyed just to kind of even it out. Let's see, where did we do copy dye at? We did one right back there. Let's add this dictionary. That does look nice there. Let's add this blue. And then let's go for another digital. We have this digital. I did not so far save one for the center. So if I put this one here, I won't have it available for the center. Let's do this one because we've got this kind of reddish color. That'll look nice there. So let's do that. Then we're going to do book page, coffee dyed. Then we're going to do our center spread page. And I think we might have to do book page there too. The only thing I didn't find a home for is this envelope. And we need to go back and find a home for that. So here's my signature. There's kind of the way it looks so far. Yes, this page will need folded in. But there's the way it looks so far. I didn't do a short little book page covering right here because I really don't want to cover her up. So that's the reason why normally I would do a little French book page here. I might come back and layer some other things here, but for today, we're going to leave it like that. I'm going to look for a place to put this envelope. Let's see. And I will do page count with you guys here in just a moment too. It might be nice to add that envelope right here. I think so. Might be nice to have that wrap around there. It doesn't really take away from anything. It fits in. You could have made the envelope part here, but I put the envelope part to the back half of the signature. And that's okay. I like it. I like it a lot. So far, I've only seen one thing that I'm unhappy about. And it's a mild unhappiness. In other words, I could live with it. I don't know if I will live with it, but I could live with it. And then this one is our center spread. I cannot open pages at all. Then that's our center spread. And then going back to the back, we've got these. We have a couple book pages that are close together here. That may change. I think we're good. Let's go ahead and get this guy folded in now. I mean, we could decide to fold him wherever we want. I'm going to fold him in pretty far because I want to see these other little pages here. And then this little section right here, I'm actually going to fold in again so that he will wrap around like that. There we go. So there's that, that. Here's where our envelope pocket is. There's that. Floral. I think we're good. I don't think I need to change something. But the perfectionist in me sees one or two things that she probably would if she wasn't doing a live right now. So there's our journal. Now you can see that we have a couple of things that are hanging out the edge. This little paper bag right here, and then there is the back part of the paper bag. You can see it sticking out. When you put in all of your pages, when you make a signature, it's more obvious this way. The more pages you add into your signature, the more it pushes the pages. Let me get my camera. The more it pushes your pages forward. So you will always have some pages. If you start out with the same size page, you will always have some pages that stick out in the middle of your signature. That's normal. It happens to everyone. There's different ways of dealing with that. You could have a bigger cover, but this cover is a standard cover and I don't want to make a bigger one. So you could trim off these couple pages here. I usually pull out, a couple here from the center and just put them in the trimmer and chop them. The only thing you want to be weary of is like, this is a paper bag. And if you cut the end of it, you'll be opening up the paper bag. Maybe you want to open up the paper bag because it makes a pocket. Also, if you have any pages that are folded over, like we folded over something somewhere. But if you have any folded over pages and you chop them, you're going to cut off part of your page. So just be aware of where your folds are, where your bags are, etc. When you pull out a couple of pages, like I might pull out this many and chop. Now for the paper bag and stuff that's sticking out, I might just leave it stick out. If it gets ruffly and torn, I kind of like that look. So I don't always chop, but in this instance, we are going to need to chop some because if you look at it, it's going to stick out and I don't want it to stick out. So let's go ahead and pull some out and trim them. And then let's proceed to sew this signature in. Okay. Anybody have any questions while I'm looking at chat now? I apologize if I didn't see question earlier, but now is a good time. I will look at chat and answer your question if you have question. And let's get this trimmer down here and trim off some pages. And we're going to use this trimmer that is not my favorite trimmer, but we're going to use it because it's the one that's in here. So I'm going to tap my pages together. I'm going to push them together. I'm going to see what's sticking out the top. The top I'm not concerned with, but the side edge I am concerned with. And I just want to push that in there. I'm pushing with this hand into this back hand and just squeezing them in there. I'm going to try. I'm going to try to trim from here out. So I'm going to pull these pages out and I'm going to trim everything. I'm going to go ahead and trim that paper bag. I'm just going to go ahead and do it. So I can't trim all of them at the same time, but I can trim a portion of them at the same time. So I just leave them folded, slide them in my trimmer, and just trim. It doesn't matter. You're not trying to measure them the same size. You're just trimming off some. If they end up being shorter, then they end up being shorter. It doesn't matter. You're not looking for all your pages to be the same. So I trimmed them. Whatever trimmed off, trimmed off. And then I'm going to put these back in my signature where they go. And I'm going to keep trimming until I have everything that I pulled out trimmed. I do want to keep my place so that I can keep my signature arrangement. I'm just going to put a glue bottle in it. I'm going to keep my place so that I can know where this part goes back in. Now, this bag is just going to get trimmed by itself because otherwise it's thick and chunky and it probably won't go very well. So let's just trim some off. It will open up the other side. That's okay. Not a big deal. And the bag goes back in and we move the glue bottle. Now we have this left. And I just left everything, even the short pages, I just left them in there. They're not going to get cut, but it's keeping my signature assembled the way I want it. And I don't have any folds that I can see. I don't know if it's going to cut all of this at once, but let's find out. My green cutter would cut all of this at once, but this one isn't my green cutter. So I'm going to move them and we're going to try it. It did. And so again, I've cut off some. It doesn't matter. You're not cutting off anything that you care about. No digital designer designs something so important over here in the edge. They don't. You can save these. You can make little tiny clusters and other projects with them. You could layer them all onto a tag and just make beautiful scrappy tag. You could use these and make these into a paper tassel. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to be sinful and throw them away. But you could do it. You could keep every little scrap to every little thing. You could. Okay, so then my signature goes back together. I tap it down, get my fingers there, and we're good to go. I believe this will not stick out of our cover now. When I find my cover, I believe it will not stick out. So put it in the center. It does not stick out any longer. No pages are sticking out. We're good to go. When you open up your journal cover, you can't tell that you trimmed any papers off here. It still looks fabulous. When you flip through your book, you're not going to know that, oh, they trimmed some pages off. Nobody's going to care about that. People stress about having to trim pages. I'm telling you, nobody cares. Just trim your pages. It's all good. Trim your pages and move on. Okay, so here's our center spread. I like this because for this center spread, you could add pockets. I'm not going to. I like to just clip in. First of all, I like to put lace down the edge of my center spread, but I do like to just clip in things, whether I clip them from the top or I clip them from the sides. It's just a nice open spread. It has a nice pretty picture in it. I'm going to leave it like that. We'll put lace down the edges and I'll clip in some ephemera. That's all I'm decorating my center with. So that pretty much consists, that little portion is pretty much signature making. For the total page count, I have one, and you're going to see that I'm not going to count every page. I will explain. I count the thick printed pages. Anything that is thick gets counted as a page. Anything that is thin or small does not get counted as a page. So when I say 15 pages is ideal, 15 to 20, I'm going to count thick pages and full-size pages only. I'm not counting small pages and I'm not counting thin pages because they don't add bulk. They don't count as a page, I guess. Okay. So this is page number 1. This could be number 2, number 3, number 4, 5. Not counting that. I won't count that. This is number 6. No. No. Number 7. No. Number 8. Number 9. No. Number 10. 10. No. Number 11. Number 12. No. Number 13. No. Number 14. In reality, I only have 14 thick pages in here, thick full-size pages. This bag is pretty thick and it could be number 15, but I have plenty of pages in here because I have all those thinner, smaller book pages and little specialty add-ins and things like that. So it doesn't matter. It's a full thick signature. We don't need to add anything. We don't need to take anything away. And I'm right at my 15 pages, give or take. So I'm happy with it. Everything is lined up where I need it to be, as far as I'm aware. Now I'm going to check for height, because that is the one thing that I didn't check for earlier. We have this music page, and it is like a 9x12 music page. And it is, that blue one might be the tallest one, but everything is within the cover. It's not actually sticking over the cover. And I have some space down here at the bottom of this one where I could shimmy things down just a little bit. You don't want your pages hanging over the edge on any side of your journal. This one is fine. It is not hanging over. I'm good with it. I'm pressing again from the center into my hand here, or into the spine. I think we're good. And I'm going to sew this in. So I'm going to put it into my journal cover. I'm going to position it from top to bottom where I want it. Make sure that it's all good. And then I'm going to clip it in there. We're good there. So then I'm going to clip it in. I've held it really tight in there with my hand. Got my binding stuff here. I've got wax linen thread from Amazon. I've linked it for you guys before. I will link it again if you need it. This needle holder is from Hobby Lobby. It is super cheap when it's on sale, and it holds my binding needles. Okay, I only need one, but I have one hand at the moment. I have a pokey tool, which I don't know why people get upset when people call it a pokey tool. Who cares, right? I mean, of all the things to leave me a comment and tell me, who cares? And I don't mean that meanly. I just mean there's so many other things, right? So then I have pliers, because sometimes pulling that needle through fabric covers, whatever, it can be painful for my fingers. So I do have pliers. These are the clips, and I was looking for those, but they're buried in my bookbinding cradle. So we're going to put clips on. We're going to push this in the center. We're going to hold it closed. We're going to put clips on while it is mostly closed to keep our pages from moving. And then we're going to put it in that cradle. And I've just clipped them on the edges like that. Some people clip them on top and bottom. I don't really think it matters where you clip them. This is a bookbinding cradle from Crafty Cat USA on Etsy. I don't have a link, but it's Crafty Cat USA, all one word. So we put it into a bookbinding cradle. If you're not using a cradle, it doesn't matter. You're just going to poke holes into a foam book, into some other book, into foam, into whatever you're poking your holes into. But when you're using a cradle, you push down in the center to make sure that all of your stuff is all the way down. You make sure that your pages are not bubbling here. If they're bubbling here, you need to move your clip and adjust. So make sure that they're smooth. There's no bubble. Then you don't need to measure. You literally poke holes. Uh-oh. Let's see. reading the Calvarange. Yeah. Muala mode. Very funny, guys. Okay, so we're going to poke holes. We are going to poke a hole in the center-ish. I mean, it really does not matter. Poke a hole in the center-ish. Okay, I'm going to do 5-hole pamphlet stitch, so I need 5 holes. I have 1 hole in the center. Then I'm going to do 1 hole about 1 inch in from the top. It doesn't matter. You do not need to be exact. 1 hole from there. 1 hole from the bottom, about 1 inch. Doesn't matter. Okay, now you have 3 holes. If you're doing a 3-hole pamphlet stitch, you're done making holes. If you're doing a 5-hole pamphlet stitch, you now need to take the distance between your center hole and your top hole, or your bottom hole, whatever hole, and you need to poke a hole in the middle of those 2 holes. So there's my center, there's the top or bottom, this is the top. I need to measure that distance just by eyeballing it and poke another hole. It doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be exact. You just guess it and do it. Now you're going to do from your center hole to your bottom hole and split that distance in half just by your eyeball. Poke a hole. It doesn't matter. You're good to go. Now you have 5 holes. You're done poking holes. There's that. Now I like to take this pokey tool, go back down the center and just leave it. Just it's holding your pages together. It's all good. At this point, I'm going to choose this small needle here. And I'm going to measure out my thread. You want your thread, I'm going to go 4 times. I like my tails long so that I could put charms or beads or whatever it is that I want to put there. So I've got 4 times the length of my cover. 4 times the length, the height of your cover. From top to bottom of your cover. Okay, there's that. We're done with that. We're going to take our needle. If you're using waxed linen thread, first of all, you should be using waxed linen thread. If you're trying to use embroidery thread, it will not hold because it is cotton and the fibers do break down over time without a coating to them that kind of protects them. And it isn't ideal because there's multi-strands and there's nothing keeping those strands together. This is also multi-strand, but the wax on it keeps the strands together. And especially in a 5-hole pamphlet stitch where you have to go back through the same hole multiple times, if you're using embroidery floss, you're probably going to split your thread every single time. Even still, when I use this, I split my thread a lot. It just happens. It's just part of life. So anyway, embroidery floss, not really the best tool for the job. You could use many things to bind a journal, but if you're really trying to make that journal to sell, you should be using waxed linen thread. Linen thread because linen is a stronger fiber, and waxed because it keeps the strands together. It's easier to sew in and out, and it has kind of a protective coating property to it. So there's that. Threaded your needle. While your pokey tool is in here, you're going to take your book out of your cradle if you're using a cradle. If you poked your holes down into a phone book or something like that, still leave your pokey tool in the center and then pick your journal signature or your journal up from there with the pokey tool still in it. Tassels, yes. Okay, so I'm going to pick that up just like that. I'm done with my cradle. I'm done with my string, hopefully. Hopefully I only have to do this one time, but every time I try to do it where it's like a mile from my face, while you're live, it's just different. So anyway, pokey tool is right here. You can see it sticking out there. That's just holding everything together while I take it out of the cradle and I move it around and everything else. Thank goodness I did bring these in here because that will help me a lot. So you're going to take your needle. Most of you have seen this. I've done this before many times, and there is a whole separate video that teaches you guys how to sew in a 3-hole and a 5-hole. First of all, you're going to take your needle and you're going to go from the inside through your center hole, from the in to the out on the center. You're going to position your string wherever you think you need it to go, just something to hold on to down here at this point. All along the way, you're going to tighten your string. You're going to want to keep this string tight the whole time that you're working with it. And so there you go. We're going to go up to the next hole and we're going to go in from the out. So wherever this hole is, it kind of looks like, sometimes you can feel it. It kind of looks like it's right here. I think. Yes, it is. Okay, so that's where it is. And we're going to go in from the out. Let's see if I can do it without pliers. Yes. Okay. So we went up one hole and we're going to pull that tight. We just want to keep our string tight the whole time. Then you're on the inside and you're going to go up to the very top hole. There's the top hole and we're going to the outside. There we go. It's preference more than anything. Three or five, it's really just preference. So we can talk about that. I'm going to pull this one tight. We're caught on something. Yes, we are. We're caught on the whole book cover. There we go. Even out my strings again. Pull tight. Pull tight. So the reason why you need to keep it extra tight on a 5-hole is because you're going to go right back through this hole right now. And you have a lot of possibility of splitting the thread. You want to try to avoid splitting the thread because it weakens the thread and it prevents you from being able to tie a tight knot. So I'm going to tighten by pulling on both. I'm not pulling so hard I'm tearing pages or tearing my cover or whatever, but I'm going to hold this one tight with my fingers. I'm going to pick up my book so I can see where the hole is, and I'm going to attempt to go back through that hole without splitting a string. I'm feeling resistance. I probably did split the string, and it just happens, whatever. So we're going to keep moving on until it's apparent that I've split it. There we go. So now we are back on the inside. We need to tighten everything. If you know that you split it, like right now, if I looked at it and I knew that I split the string, you could back out of this hole and fix it. I don't know that I did or I didn't. It's not obvious. So we're just going to keep moving on. But anyway, you're on the inside. Now you're going to, this always confuses me at this point. You're going to bypass the center hole and you're going to go down. So don't go through the center. You're going to go down to this hole. Okay. So don't, like you're in the inside and the next hole would be the center. Don't go through that one. Go down to the next one. So there's the next one. And we're going to go through. It wants to. Now we might get to the plier part of today's portion. Okay, so we're through that one. And now we're going to go down to the very last hole. I need to shorten that string. Tighten as you go. Tighten, tighten. Make sure nothing is caught in there also as you're going. Okay, now we're going to go through the last one down here at the bottom, which I can't really see, but I think it's over here somewhere. It is. And there we go. Oop, we're in between the pages. So there's no needle. There's no needle here because the needle is in a few pages. Just back your needle out until you can feel that those pages move and go back through. Yeah, it needs to go up just a little. Wiggle. I knew it was going too easy. So we just don't want those pages to be left out of the binding process and you wouldn't be able to get back through. So I just got to do this. It never fails. There we go. Maybe it's just missing the pages. So I'm missing the hole for those pages. Let me turn it around and take it off camera so I can see what I'm doing. There's my hole. You really need to hit that hole pretty much dead on. Okay, so when you have trouble, take your pokey tool from the inside of the hole, find the hole, poke the pokey tool through. That lines everything back up again. Pull the pokey tool back out, take the needle, and then go through again. It really doesn't change much, but it does make your life happier. At least it's supposed to. We're still missing it. There we go. Yes. Okay, so we're through the bottom and now we just need to work our way back up. And again, keeping everything tight as you go. Here's our signature string. We're good to go there. We'll just tighten. And now we need to go through the next hole up, second from the bottom, worked our way through there, tighten, and then back through that center hole, and then you're done. And then we'll talk about 5 and 3. So I'm going to hold this bottom string tight with my finger. I'm going to pull that one tight, and I'm going to go back through there and hope I don't split anything. And now we're good. We're done. Everything is sewn. I can take my needle off and put my needle away. And so a 3-hole pamphlet stitch is perfectly fine for a single signature journal or even multiple. It doesn't really matter. A 3 is fine. It's sturdy enough. A 5 is a little bit more sturdy, probably. Is it the end of the world if you use the 3-hole and, you know, it's a little wiggly? It's not the end of the world. It's totally fine. The only thing that would stop me and make me like sew in a signature over again is splitting my thread and not being able to tighten things, which at some point this has done. I don't know where, but at some point it's caught up. I can try to fix it, but it may not. But anyway, so if you have to resew, the reasons why I would resew a signature is if I can't tighten it here because I've gone through a thread. A 5-hole is a little more challenging, and going back through those holes, you do split your thread a lot more often than a 3-hole. A 3-hole, you pretty much never split your thread except for that center hole because that's the only one you're going in multiple times. I'm getting tighter, but not quite tight enough. Let me see what's going on back here. So anyway, right there, see? This is where you went through and you split your thread. If it's just a couple of strings, I'm going to show it really close. If I went through and I split right through the center, if it's just a couple of strings, you can cut those couple strings and that will free your thread so that you can tie. And this is very delicate. It's like surgery. If you just have a couple strings, you can cut them and it will free your string so that you can sew in your signature and have it be tight. It's one string, and I isolated the one string, and I'm going to snip it. And now my string is free and I can sew in tight. So if you go through your string, it's possible to fix it, but you got to find where you went through it. And now we can tighten. Anyway, 3 and 5. 3 is sturdy. 5 is slightly more sturdy. It doesn't really matter on number of pages, but it does kind of matter on size of pages. If you have a lot of smaller pages in your signature, you might want to do a 5-hole stitch because that 5-hole stitch has 5 holes and it's more holes in the bottom and the top to catch those little pages. So that's really the thing I think is important is the size of the pages. A lot of little small pages or add-ins or something like that, the 5-hole will catch them more because there's more opportunities to catch them. A 3-hole, if you just have holes at the top here and here, you might have a small page where it doesn't get caught at the top one, and therefore only 2 are holding. It's probably still okay, but I do like the security of the 5-hole with small pages. So there's that. We didn't end up using the pliers. We only split our thread one time today, so that's a plus. And then we're all good. We're zoned in. Now, if you're doing multiple signatures, I think I would do a 3-hole pamphlet stitch if I was doing a hidden spine, because you're also going to be gluing that spine in. I don't know. I think multiple signatures, a 3-hole is also a little bit more, it's fine to do because you're doing multiple signatures, and in this little spine here, it's getting crowded. And so the more 3-holes you have kind of works. I don't know. I think if I was doing a multiple signature, I would probably just do 3-hole pamphlet stitch. But for a single signature with different size pages, I'm going to do a 5-hole. I could have done a 3. It would have been fine. It's preference. Too big of a needle. Yeah. It sounds like it would be a good idea, but it does make it harder. And then also, some people say a blunt needle. You can use a blunt needle. It may help you not split your thread. But for me, because I often do this style of cover, which is harder and fabric covered, there's fabric on the inside, there's fabric on the outside. I need that sharp needle to go through there. That's just my opinion. You can try using a blunt needle and it might not split your threads as much. Anyway, this is our journal. Our journal is put together. It is beautiful. It's the first one of 3. So we will have more. But sorry, I'm off camera. But this is it so far. Now, I didn't go back and add any little pages or anything here. The more I was thinking about it, I know we're going to have a pocket across here. I think this is beautiful the way it is. So I'm going to leave it. But there's that. Sorry for the long-winded and losing my train of thought. But now we opened up this bag. So we have a big pocket here. And we have a big pocket on this side of the bag too. So that's good. We have our envelope in here, which if you wanted to, just because this is my pet peeve with envelopes. Just because this is open here doesn't mean that's where my pocket needs to be. For me, sliding a journal card in and out of here, like you guys can see, there's a bump of pages here. That would be really difficult to slide in and out of. So what I'm going to do with this envelope is I'm going to cover this with another piece of paper, and I'm going to cut off the top or the side over here and use that as a pocket because it's easier to get to. So just because your envelope is open here does not mean that's where your pocket needs to go. It would be hard to get a journal card in and out. So I'm going to take a piece of paper. I'm not going to take this one particularly, but I'm going to take a piece of paper. I'm going to cover that envelope, and I'm just going to cut off a side, and that'll be my pocket. When you cover up your envelope, make sure that you don't glue the whole paper and stick it down because it will seal up here. So when you cover your envelope, put your glue only on this part of the envelope so that this is still a pocket. Do you understand what I'm saying with that? So there's envelopes, there's bags. The doily is, it's just really there for, it's really just there for pretty. That's it. The 5-hole, there is actually a video on the channel. I don't know what number it is, but there's a 3-hole video and a 5-hole video back to back so that you can compare the two and see me sew one in. And then the next video, the next day is sewing the other one in. I think 5-hole is sturdy, but honestly, a 3-hole is fine. We're going to add lace down the spine here too. So the more things you, like the gluing of the lace over the spine, it will also make a 3-hole more sturdy. Really, for me, it's just page size. If I have a bunch of little pages, I want the 5-hole. And that's more of a recent change. I used to just do 3-hole no matter what. So there's that. Let's see what time we have. Well, we have time. Let's make some more covers because I need 2 more covers. You can see I'm flexing it because I'm preparing this one to be a fat one. Let's make some more covers. I want to play with this one. I want to glue in ephemera right now. It's sitting here and I want to do it soon, very soon. Put in $100 bill. I'd get it out. Uh-oh. I don't know what that is. put in $100 bill, you'd get it out? Oh, in the envelope? Yeah, I guess you would. Okay, let's go ahead. The needles that I'm using are from that cheap Amazon binding kit that I told you guys about a long time ago. It's still my favorite binding toolkit. Let's go ahead and put this to the side somewhere. And let's make some more covers. We need these. We're going to make 2 more covers. And I will speed that along just because we don't really need to take forever with it. I've already taught it once. I'll go over it. But I'm going to fold this watercolor cardstock in half. I'm using super thick watercolor cardstock as my base of my cover. And I'm just giving, if I had a scoring board in here, I would have just scored it. But I don't. So we're just going to fold it. And I'm just going to mass make these both at the same time. It moved a little bit. There we go. You get down here to comments. I am going to. Yes, I always decorate the covers. I just don't do it until I'm nearing the finish line because it's bulky. It's hard to work on. It can ruin things. So, yeah. I will just do it as we get to it. So now we're going to open these up and we're going to glue our fabric to them. And I'm going to do this grungy one first. And we need to size it. We have some wiggle room. So if there's something out here that I particularly don't like, we have some wiggle room. Let's do it like this. And I just cut off the excess fabric, leaving about 3/4 of an inch or so. We're not measuring or making perfect. We're just cutting off some of the bulk. And we'll do the same down here. You can't really see what I'm doing. I don't like cutting on the left side. I don't know about you guys, but I don't like cutting on the left side. I like to cut on the right side. I found out that I'm also that way about backing out of parking spots. I really only like to back in one direction, like, you know, when you come out of a parking spot. I don't know why. Creature of habit, I guess. So there's that one. Let's do the next one. I have 0 space. Let's put that there. I already showed you guys what my plan is, and many of you guys are doing the exact same thing that I'm doing. That French postcard lady, you're just using some kind of focal point image on the front of it with a bunch of lace and layering. And then the white lace that has the beads on it, that's what's going on. I'm positioning my cover, kind of looking at the pattern and seeing what I would like to see, for lack of a better explanation. So once I've got it kind of positioned where I want it, then I'll flip it over and cut off the excess. And of course it's approximate, but anyway. Yeah, just a bunch of lace and layering. Like you could make a separate topper and glue that on, or you could just do the collaging right on the cover. I don't know exactly. So I don't want to cut on the left again. I want to cut on the right. I just like it better. And yes, you could have moved this all the way to one side and ended up with a bigger fabric scrap, but it's okay. All right, so there's that. Now I'm going to trim my corners. I just found that in the past when I didn't make, I think we glued it and then I trimmed it. That's what we need to do. I need to glue it and then trim it because it will move. So let's glue it. But in the past, when I only make one cover with you guys, I don't have time to go back and make the other 2 covers. So I'm finding that I have all the ephemera to put in a journal, but I don't necessarily have the covers done. So I'm just going to get the covers done this time right now. Now, I don't know if this is the old bottle of Fabri-Tac or what, but I'm using Fabri-Tac. There is another bottle in here somewhere. We need to put that one upside down as well so that it can drain to the bottom. Kind of, sort of. This is an old bottle of Fabri-Tac. And it just needs used up. Yes, layering. Some of you guys posted pictures in the Facebook group of your covers. Some of you have already decorated your covers. Some of you just laid it out and, you're planning on doing it or you're thinking about it still. But basically what I saw was basically what I said I was going to do, which is put the white beaded lace down the spine and close, so glue that over top of your sewn in signature strings down the spine. And then you'll use a focal point image with some layering laces and trims, whatever you want to layer in there. That's kind of, I think, what most people do on the fronts of journals. They give it some kind, this is really the end of a bottle and it's driving me crazy. It's hard to squeeze out. Anyway, I think most people put some type of topper, focal point, whatever on a journal. Some people will just add lace. They don't want a focal point. They don't want any image. Some people will not decorate the fronts of the journal at all, and they sell them that way, and then the person who buys them decorates the front cover. I think most people who buy journals are not looking to buy a journal that requires a lot of work. I think most people who buy journals are looking to buy a journal that is pretty much fully decorated, and all they have to do is do the actual writing and journaling inside of it. So now you notice that I didn't sew around that cover. The first cover, I didn't sew around it, and I'm not going to sew around this one either. I was planning on it, but in the end, there's so much fabric wrapped around there, it doesn't need sewn around. You could, and I might on these two, but probably not. It just wasn't something that it needed. Oh my gosh. Will this bottle of glue ever end? I'm just trying to use it all up. Anyway, don't leave big gobs of glue. Smooth them out with the nozzle of your thing and then stick this down on your fabric. Ooh, the fumes of this. It's terrible. I can taste them. That's not good. Anyway, take the glued side of it. This needs to lay down. Take the glued side, flip it over, center it on your fabric as best as you can. Probably needs to go down a little bit. That's why you don't cut your corners before you glue, because you're going to need to wiggle it. That's pretty good. Then press it down. You get it back into a bargain spot. Yeah. All I have to say is thank goodness for backup camera. They kind of are a lifesaver. I had a very old car, a 2010 Jeep Grand Cherokee, and I did get a newer one. And it does have some safety features, which I think are worth buying a new car alone. Because, first of all, from having such an old car, a 2010, you really don't know, like, unless you've been on vacation and had a rental car or something, you don't know what you're missing. They've came a long way in cars and features on vehicles. And so I did get a new one. And it does have some very nice safety features like blind spot detection, which for me, I have a lot of very painful spine and neck arthritis. And I was finding as I got older, it was becoming harder and harder to fully turn your neck to look, to turn. And that's not a good thing, right? Like, that's actually a really bad thing. And so I noticed in the last few years that things were becoming a little more sketchy. And um, that there were a couple of near misses where I was going to change lanes and there was a car in my blind spot. And from a 2010 car, um, the blind spot was quite a bit larger than the newer ones. Newer cars, they figured out, you know, how to not have such obvious blind spots. And plus, it has blind spot detection where it will tell you if there's a car next to you. So I thought that was kind of cool. And then it has a feature where it will prevent you or help prevent you from a forward collision, a forward accident. So if it senses, basically the new cars have cameras all over them. It can sense an obstacle in your path and help slow you down. It won't totally avoid an accident because no car can really do that, but it will help you or try to. It will apply the brake in any event. But anyway, so I think there are some reasons why getting a new car is good. But the biggest reason I got a new car was because if I didn't get a new car, that blind spot and just some of the other features, it was probably going to cost me an accident. And that's just me being 100% honest. So I did bite the bullet and get a newer one. But, with that comes other things. Higher insurance, all kinds of things. But the backup camera, that's what got us talking on it. So it does have a backup camera, which helps you. The old one obviously didn't have a backup camera either. But the backup camera really does help you. I didn't realize that basically all new cars have these things. And so, it's a little bit of a learning curve, but I can see where cars need backup cameras. That's all I will say about that because I think it's much safer. Let's fold this over now. So we're going to take it and wrap it tight and fold it, push it with our fingers. We want a tight, hard edge, no loose fabric. We cut our corners not all the way to the corner of the card, just close to it so that there is going to be fabric that's going to cover the actual corner. Yeah. I think it's safer. Specifically for someone like me who's, the turning of the head. I know you got to turn your head and you got to turn your neck and you got to look. I know that. But it's painful and it was getting to where it was stiffer and the full range of motion wasn't really there either. So it was causing me some problems. And of course, you still have pain and whatever, but I just think it's going to help you. So there's my 2 cents on that. And I know that they're doing some different things with car pricing. I don't know exactly what they're doing, but there's always advertisements that say cars are basically free. They're on sale, at least. I don't know. So there's that. And let's do this one. I'll get a little bit of glue here. This bottle is almost done. I have another one prepped, so we won't be here all day. Maybe. Okay, this one's done. Yeah, they do have a lot of new features. It was just such a difference from such an old car. I just really loved my old car. I did. It was a very sentimental kind of a thing. I won't get into it, but I just really loved my old car. And I really didn't want to get rid of it. But if you try a newer one, you're going to see that, yeah, there are some changes. I know that there's cars that have all kinds of features that I don't even know about. I didn't get a fancy car. Ooh, I'm getting glue everywhere. All right, there's that. This is the outside portion of the cover. Let's do the next one and get that one done. You haven't owned a car. 97 Subaru. Well, I would really like to, live somewhere where we did walk to things and things were close, but I live in the desert and there's nothing close. But I need to make sure I put glue the right way because I want my cover to fold the right way. Now let's use this bottle of glue that's almost done. This one's newer though, and it's smoother. It comes out a lot easier. Okay. Well, if we lived somewhere where we could walk to everything, I would definitely be fitter, more fit, because you'd get your steps in, right? It's just not really possible where we live. Everything is so far away. Even for us to go like to the doctor is super far for specialists. We have a health clinic that's closer, but it's not necessarily the best health clinic. It's just closer. So this fabric that came in the kit has a backing on it, so I can get away with adding quite a bit of glue. You don't want to have big areas without glue on a fabric cover because those areas, that fabric is going to move and shift. And when people are holding the journal in their hand, they're going to feel that that fabric is loose and it doesn't feel as nice. So I can get away with adding quite a bit of glue. Here we go. There's that one. I'll attempt to leave it lay there. Ooh, it stinks. It's extra fumy. Extra fumy. Yeah, that would be nice to live in a place like that where you could, get your steps in, everything's close. Although I do like, the country too. So there's that. All right, can you stop making a mess everywhere, please? It's just gross. Yeah, it's just gross. Let's get a baby wipe. So how many of you have journal covers made? And how many of you have signatures made? I know not all of you will, but how many of you? Journal covers and signatures. How many of you are at the same point, the same finishing point that I am at tonight, where you've got that part done? One. One. Lots of covers, very few signatures. Cover done. Okay. I just want to make sure I'm not going too fast, too slow. I know some people were saying that they'd already sewed in their signature. So some people they kind of worked ahead of me. And so some people are a little bit ahead. I don't know of anybody that's finished the journal yet. I also know some people are just getting their kits. Some people just bought a kit. And if you're looking for a kit, there are still kits available. Forgot to mention that, but there are still kits available. I made way extra kits this time because I just had this giant amount of fabric and I just kept making kits until there was no more fabric. So I do have kits available. If you want a kit, you can text me. I'm pretty sure the phone number for texting is listed somewhere up there or somewhere. If you need a kit, just let me know. All right, so there's that disgustingness. The Fabri-Tac is super gross at the end of the bottle. It just is. I like to do the short sides first. It just bubbles. I use the small bottle because I like the big bottle. It just kind of gets thick by the time I get to the bottom of it, unless I'm making like a lot of covers. But the big bottle also bubbles out the top way more. This one's only doing it because it's the end of the bottle. Right? That week of processing time, I really have needed it. The last 2 times we've done it, and I'm out there making packs because people requested a pack and I didn't have enough and stuff like that. So, and I'm taking apart books and doing all the behind the scenes things, but it really has been necessary. And some people say that I'm just taking a vacation and, you know, whatever. And trust me, it's just like working. It's just that there's not additional sales being done on top of it. And I do that because A, I need the time to process the previous ones, but B, I don't want to sell too much and have there be a sale on top of a sale on top of a sale that all still needs processed, because I would get into trouble time wise where I would be way too far behind and too stressed out about being behind. And so I really am trying to process what's here before we move on to more. But like, we wanted to go see a movie and I'm like, no, we can't. We can't. We really can't. We have to do stuff. Oh, and those of you that were following with my daughter is fine. That's not why we didn't have class or why we didn't have sales this week. I know some people were thinking that something bad happened. No, she is fine. Her blood pressure has actually been really good. The bottom number is creeping up, but the top number is still like 130, 140, whatever. She's doing good. It's not in the danger zone or anything like that. Yes, she has preeclampsia, but she is doing good. So right now she is, let's see, what is today? She is due in 40 days, basically. So she's doing good. So there's that one. This is our grungy one. We've grungied it up. Let's get these blue papers cut and glue those in. And I might need to go grab another bottle of fabric. So these are the blue inside papers. We need to cut them in half. So they're 11 inches long. We're going to cut them at 5.5. Then they need inked. Yeah, she is doing good. Getting excited. The time is nearly here. I may have just grabbed too much ink. Okay, I didn't. I'm good. Yes, nearly here. You know, the only bad thing is it is 115 degrees out and it's near July, August in Arizona. Like, it is a miserable time to be 9 months pregnant or 8 months, 8.5, whatever. You know, it's pretty miserable. It's so hot and humid and just, you know, how you feel when you're big like that, you know. You know, she's not overweight, but she's just big pregnant. So it's just uncomfortable. But she's still working, still doing good. Everything's good there. I don't really need to ink these ones. I will, but I don't really need to. There we go. There's one. I can't wait. I mean, you know, I'm going to wait, but I don't need to ink the insides of them. Because we're going to put fabric down the center, and I'm going to use a different fabric for these two. I think it will be super fun. The only sad thing is she does live an hour and 15 minutes from me. So she's not super close. It's an hour and 15-minute drive. Like I said, I live pretty far out, and she lives pretty far out, but in the opposite corner of town. So we don't really live close by each other. We talked about that and how that was a mistake. And we are looking to live closer together, whether it be I move or she's definitely moving, but whether it be both of us or just her. Her husband has a job up in the north part of town, and I am in the south part of town. So anyway, she will drive into work and I will get the baby occasionally. We're hoping for 1 day a week. It just depends on how it works with my schedule, because as you guys know right now, I don't have 1 day a week that I can play with babies. So something's got to change, which is also why I was trying to, get some help here so that I can have more time to be a grandma. I have faith that it will work out. Your granddaughter called to tell you she's coming. Ooh, that's fun. I hope everything's okay, because it's a last minute change, but that sounds fun. It is ridiculously hot here. I mean, even if it was 70 degrees and you were 9 months pregnant, you would be uncomfortable and you would be warm. But being that pregnant in such a hot temperature, ugh, I was never not like that. So, all right, we've inked these, and the reason why we're inking them now is because we're going to glue them to the inside of our cover. I'm going to ink just a little bit there in case that fabric comes up. Just a little. Because the fabric will cover this other edge that I'm not bothering to ink too much. Okay, so let's get these glued in and then the fabric strips. Cover number 1. I gotta look at which way is the front cover and make sure I glue my papers in the right direction. Nothing's worse than making a cover and gluing things in the wrong direction. So it would go like that. And that is the front. My flowers are facing the right direction. I mean, this is almost non-directional, but not quite. And now we're going to glue these in. I'm going to run and grab another bottle of Fabri-Tac. I don't want to fight with that one. 1 second. Oh my gosh. Twins? Twins sound like a lot of fun, but also a lot of work. Yeah, I would love it if they would all move in with me, but darn kids want their own life and, all that kind of stuff. So they just got married. They don't want to live with the mother, the mother-in-law. Yeah, they don't want to live with mother. I understand. I would have felt similar. You want to be an adult. You want to have your own house and your own family, and I get it. But I just want them to live with me forever. Good night, Kim. Thanks so much for joining. Oh my gosh. She'll steal your ephemera. Uh-oh. None of that. I'm going to try to finish this one off. It's not quite empty enough to throw in the trash can without guilt. Where did I put that baby wipe? It needs cleaned off. It's clogging itself. Anyway, I can't wait for sleepovers. I can't wait for all of that. I do get the baby while they go to a wedding right after they have it. So that's going to be fun. It's an out-of-town ceremony, out-of-town wedding. And I have been told that I will get the baby Well, they are gone for a few days. And so that's exciting. I hope I can handle him. I mean, it's been a long time since I've had a baby also. So. All of this glue adds sturdiness and structure to your cover. So, as long as you're not making your glue globby or show through something, all of this glue adds to that sturdy structure. So don't be skimpy with it. There's that. And we're going to position it where we're kind of spreading, making everything even all the way around. I want to see that red fabric showing. And I want it to be straight and even. And then we just press that down. Just making good contact, it's going over some fabric. It's going to that watercolor cardstock at the bottom. And there's that one. 9 going on 16. I remember. Your first daughter was born in July 15th. Yeah, hot, huh? Oh, come on. All right, I'm done fighting. I got one extra cover thing done. Now we'll get a new bottle and we will all be much happier. It will go faster. I need to stick this to something so it doesn't stick to my trash can. When I had my daughter, I had hyperemesis the whole time, where I was in the hospital and on home IV therapy for the whole time until I was 7.5 months pregnant, and then I went into labor. Right as soon as the emesis, I won't say the other word, somebody might be eating dinner. When that ended, I went into labor, and so it wasn't a great experience, but I was very small because I wasn't able to keep any food or water down the whole time. So when I went in to give birth to her, I weighed 128 pounds. And when I left the hospital, I weighed 103 pounds. And so, yeah, I was very small. And she was 8 pounds, 13 ounces. So she was a good sized baby. Yeah. Is what it is, and not really too much you can do about it. And then so the doctor was like, he told me, he's like, when, because it was terrible, right? You guys know what emesis means. If you don't know, you could look it up. But it was terrible. And he told me, my obstetrician, he told me, this probably will never happen again. It's very unlikely that it will happen in your next pregnancy, whatever. And wouldn't you know, the exact same scenario unfolded when I had my son. Same thing, hyperemesis, couldn't keep anything down, not even water, in the hospital on IVs, at home for months on IVs. That all goes away at 7.5 months and you go into labor again. And then you're back in the hospital on that terrible magnesium drug that makes you not have labor because it was too early to deliver. But both times the same scenario. And then I was like, okay, well, I guess that's that. Because we're not going to do that again. I mean, I wish I could have, but there were other circumstances as well that made that not possible. Such as, you needed a husband for a third child. But anyway, not to say anything else about that, but things had changed in our family by the time I was thinking about a third child being nice. Things had changed. So this is why I have 2 children. I would have loved to had 6 or 8, but obviously I, wouldn't have been able to afford having 6 or 8 either. But The thought of the Brady Bunch certainly sounds nice, where you just have bunches and bunches of kids. At least that's how I felt about it. My other half did not feel that way. All right, so here goes this one. Am I right side up? Not really. Here we go. There's that one. Oh my gosh. Yeah, it's kind of like horror battle stories, right? Sorry for John if you're here. Like, yeah, battle stories. Other men watching, sorry. But women have battle stories. And these are our battle stories. But we do make it through it most of the time, right? I don't mean to make light of that, but we made it through it. We have wonderful children. And even though some experiences we would have rather not had, that's what brought us our children. So it is what it is. All right, let's not glue this one on upside down. I hope my daughter doesn't have, like, the same kind of a thing happen with her next child. But they do say that once you have the preeclampsia, you probably will have it with future ones. But at least now they'll know to, like, be paying more attention to her blood pressure for future ones. She says she would like 4 or 5 children, but I told her wait till after this one to think about that. Because she was like talking about how they wanted to have, the second child right away. And I was like, yeah, that sounds like a, nice thought, but you might want to just, play it by ear, see how you feel about it after the first one is here, Things will probably change. Aw, Shauna. It is what it is. It's one of my favorite sayings. Ask my kids. I tell them that all the time. All right. So there's the covers without the fabric. We just need to add the fabric, and then those covers will be done. You didn't? Oh, that's good to know, Kathy. That's encouraging. Yep. Only wanted 2, so that was fine. I was happy I got 1 boy and 1 girl. That was pretty lucky, I think. And I struggle with the word lucky because it really is blessed. But when I say blessed, when I hear blessed, it kind of, I don't know how you guys will feel about this, but like the word lucky and the word blessed, neither one of them seem to fit exactly how I feel about the situation. So I was struggling trying to come up with an alternative word. Did I not bring this fabric in here? Don't tell me I didn't bring it in. I need a larger strip of this fabric because I have decided this fabric is the fabric I want to go down the center of these covers instead of the ticking. And it doesn't look like I brought it in here. It looks like I only have a scrap in here. Let me pull this over so I can dig in here a little bit more. I didn't bring it in. Okay, so I need to go grab that fabric. I've had to go grab several things tonight. Or I can do the fabric part later. Let me go see if I can actually reach it quick. But see, then it's fortune. I don't know. there's a word and I just don't know about the word yet. To me, blessed sounds like maybe I'm being a little bit conceited because I'm blessed. Like, I'm so blessed. Do you guys get what I mean? Like, doesn't it sound like, to me, it it almost makes me think that I would sound conceited to say I'm blessed. Like I'm, you know, it just seems a little bit not the right word. And lucky implies that it was just luck. And that doesn't feel right to me either. And so I'm struggling with that. That's a recent, yeah. Definitely agree with you, Diane. Yeah. Grateful is definitely a good word. I totally agree with you, Jane, but to me, when I say it, I would never want someone to think that I was saying something meaning like I'm like being boastful or I'm being conceited or I'm being whatever. So I'm struggling to find another word. Grateful was one that I was thinking about, but I think there might be a better one. I need a thesaurus and then I will find the right word. Let me go grab that fabric so I can finish these quick. I'm going to grab it. It's right across the hall. No craft lunches happened. No craft lunches happened. We're all good. I know blessed is not really conceited. I know that. I'm just saying, to me, it feels like that is the incorrect word. I don't know why. All right, let's find a piece of this fabric. I think we could use this little bit here. So I really don't need it that long, but I'm not mad about scrap of this either. This is a French fabric. And at first I thought this fabric was a little bit too grungy, but then I really liked it after we did it. Just going to snip that roughly. Just me overthinking things more than anything. Right? That's really what the problem is there with the right word. Just me overthinking things. As usual. All right, let's make some strips of this. We have a weird little fold situation happening right there. And it's not really straight cut over here. I need it to be straight. This is a good scrap. We will make some fun clusters, fun fabric-y things for these journals too. That's straighter, more straight. Let's do this one in half and hope that this is big enough. I love French fabrics. They have such different patterns, things that we're not used to seeing here. So that's so pretty that it's going to be sad a signature is going to be sewn in right on top of it. But such is life. And here's the other one. And this one has this weird little fold in the fabric. And I'm going to attempt to finger press it open before I glue it in there. Finger pressing literally is just finger pressing. If you're not a quilter or a sewer. Is the nursery set up? It is. They're all ready to go. I think the last thing they needed was the second car seat base. I told her just to get 2 car seats, but I think they went with 1 car seat that came with the stroller, and then they're going to buy 2 bases, which should be fine, but you know, I'm going to leave this stick out quite a long ways, and we're going to glue that in. I might just leave that stick out too. I really love this fabric. So let's get this guy glued in. And we do have this channel open in the center. That's by design. It's so that you're not sewing through so many things, but also this paper, the blue paper, is 8.5 by 11, and the watercolor cover is 9 by 12. So there was always going to be a gap somewhere. We might as well put it right there where we're going to sew our signature in, and we're going to put this down it anyway. So that was the point of that. I love that you guys help me with my weird little, we need to find a word that means this. And I'm not putting glue in that channel. I'm specifically staying away from putting glue in there because I don't want the glue. It gets hard and it's hard to get your needles through and whatever. So just keep your glue out of that channel. I think it works better that way. Let's see how wide I actually need to spread this glue. Pretty wide. Okay. And I'm just going to eyeball it. You could fold your piece in half and line it all up and be perfect with it. But I think we did pretty good. The most important thing is that it is straight. There we go. There's that one. We'll let that dry for a minute. We'll do this last one. And then hopefully when I come back next Friday, like you'll see me Tuesday and Thursday this coming week. But when we come back for working on these journals again, I will have the 3 signatures sewn in, I hope. And we really will be to the point where we just need to make ephemera next time. So I will figure out what ephemera I have made at that point. We will make whatever is necessary and then glue it in. And by the end of the next time we're together, we should have a almost, I mean, most people would consider the journal finished at that point because you have ephemera glued in. I will not consider it done because I always do more than that, like embellishing whatever, but you don't have to. So there's that. It's pretty much wide enough because there's going to be some fraying. I'm going to position this kind of where I want to position it. Not necessarily, I want that flower, not that you're going to see it, but that's where I wanted it. How are we in the center? Pretty much. I would love to have a nursery at my house. We talked about it and I really want to, but you know, I don't have a spare room that doesn't have antique French paper in it. So unless you guys want to give up this room for a nursery and I don't do sales anymore, I don't have space for a nursery. I'm joking with that. But yes, I do not have space at this current house. It is a 4-bedroom house. However, all of the bedrooms are taken up by crafty things and YouTube cameras and all of that kind of stuff. So I can't have a nursery currently. So I'm sad about that. We talked about it and I was actually very sad. And I considered, and I am considering, I would like to move. But moving with all of this stuff seems like it would be horrible. It would be like the worst move of my life because I have, you know, all of this stuff here. But I think we will probably end up moving. It needs to be timed right, and I need to find the right house with a lot of space. These are the 2 new covers. Obviously, I'm going to trim this fabric. Might as well just do it because we know we're going to trim it. So just don't want to pull it up from the glue. There's that one. And I do leave it long. If I need to trim it later more, I will. And the reason why I leave it long now is because it's going to fray. And I don't know exactly where I want it. But look at what beautiful scraps. We're going to play with these beautiful scraps. What do you guys want to do now? I know. The stuff is taking up the room for the baby nursery. It's killing me. You guys get like crazy me sometimes, don't you? Okay, so we did 2 more covers. I won't fold them because this glue is wet. Like, I don't want to fold them all the way because the glue is wet. This is the one that we have done. I don't have the laces that came in the kit in here, or I would lay out exactly what I'm doing for the cover for those of you who missed decorating the cover, the plan for decorating the cover. But next time, next Friday, we'll be here Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern time next week. I'm going to have the signatures sewn into these 2. They will be the farm signatures, or at least one of them will be the farm signatures with the animals. I will show you those. You guys will see it in a video probably. And then we will begin putting ephemera into these journals and making whatever leftover pockets or tags or whatever need to be made. And then that 4th video, we will more than likely decorate the cover, do little zhuzhing and finishing touches of whatever still needed to be done. And then these will be done in the 4th video. That puts us, if I look at the calendar, that puts us, so next week is the 25th. We should be finished with these journals on August 1st. That should be the 4th video. And the reason why it's August 1st is because I am 1 week behind because I did not do a live last Friday. So there's that. I would love to have her be seen. There she is. And then let's see what else. You guys want my ephemera? You guys want to see it? I will decide for sure if I'm going to do an August kit. I'll let you guys know next week for sure. If I put beads at the bottom, what kind would I use? Whatever I wanted. Like if I just wanted red and blue and crystals, if I wanted natural stones, whatever. It doesn't really matter. I usually do beads and then a charm at the end of the beads. So I'll do some large beads, some small beads, and then a metal charm at the end. That's what I'm thinking of doing with these. So that's probably what you'll see. And we could do that on the 4th video too. We really haven't done that on video. I mean, I don't think we have. So we could do that too. Okay, ephemera. Show us your ephemera. We need to do a challenge that literally says that. Show us your ephemera. I will not show you things that you haven't seen in video yet. This is where we're at. So these are the things I just posted in the Facebook group. This was today's video. This is how I'm keeping them so they don't get all damaged and torn up. These are the little fabric flip. This is a 365 thing. It's a little fabric hinge at the top. There's still little pieces that need glued. I could have sat here and done that with you guys, and we could have decorated other ephemera next time. But anyway, these are part of a video. These are in this bucket because they go with the color scheme of this journal, so that's why they're in here. This is some small Tim Holtz ephemera that I pulled because of color. These are the 3 belly bands. That was yesterday's video. There they are. These are the 3 envelope flip out things. They have envelopes in all different directions. Envelope explosion. What did I call it? Exploding envelopes. Yeah, there's the exploding envelopes. And there's 3 of those. They need decorated. We have pressed dried flower double pockets. So they are a pocket on a page as well as a pocket in between them. There's 3 matching of those. There's 3 little ephemera bundles. 1, 2, 3, and that's all authentic ephemera. There's 3 of these little file folder ephemera folios. These are journal cards, and there is 3 of them. There's 3 of these tags that also have journal cards in the side of them. There's 3 of these, which is a handmade envelope out of ledger paper, and it has a kind of opening journal spot on one side and a journal card. It's pinned in there, but a journal card in there. I think they have another journal card in there too somewhere. That's a 365 video. All of this you guys have seen. These are the like Z fold. They're tags for back of the Z fold. But these Z fold pockets, tucks, those are in here with their matching tags. These are the fabric French sewing fabric sample tags. There's those, 3 of them. Then these are all masterboard pieces. All of this is masterboard pieces where we've made the masterboard, but we didn't decorate it. And that will definitely be when we need a journal card, when we need a pocket next time, we're going to decorate these. I probably will have sat and decorated some of them before that, but there's that. So this is really the ephemera, but the only thing in this basket is red, white, and blue French ephemera. I have a huge tub of pre-made ephemera that can go in here. It's just not made specifically for this journal, but there are things that match this journal that could be put in there. So that's why I'm saying we don't really need a ton more ephemera. Plus, there are more 365 videos of ephemera to be made, and some that already have been made that you cannot see. But there's that. There's the ephemera. There is also the ephemera that comes in your kits. That is the little pockets and the little tags and things like that that need decorated. So it's kind of like cheater ephemera, where you have like a library card pocket, but then we alter it to make it something else and then put it in. Tags that need altered, time cards, that kind of thing. All right, guys, I'm going to flip this camera back around. Does anyone else have a question? Before we wrap up for tonight, does anyone have a question? These are very fun journals. Obviously, I love French things, so I plan on filling a lot of pockets with the authentic ephemera because I want this to really give someone a taste of France. I want them to feel the old antique things, papers mostly, ephemera, that we get from France. So I want to add a lot of ephemera to these, basically. I don't see any questions coming in, so I'm going to flip this camera back around. I do have one request for you guys before you go. One request. Okay, that request is, if you are watching, it's a 9x12 piece of very thick watercolor cardstock. That's the base. The thickness comes from that very thick. It's like 320-pound watercolor cardstock, and it does need to be watercolor because it is stronger. So anyway, that's the base. But you texted me, perfect. I will respond. One request before you guys go. For all of you who have watched this video live with me, who are in live right now, and for all of you who will watch this video when I'm not live right now, there are many, many people watching content that I create on this channel that are not subscribed. You might have your reasons for not subscribing, and I respect that. But I will ask you, if you are watching and you are interested in the content, if you're liking the content, please consider subscribing because it lets me know that you like the content, that you want me to make more of this kind of content. When I find that the subscriber level is kind of tapering off and we're not really gaining a lot of subscribers, then it makes me wonder if I should not make junk journal videos as much, or maybe I should make some other type of content because my audience is not necessarily engaging with the content that I'm making. It's just one way of letting me know that you like what you see and that you are interested in more of it. And lots of people are watching, but they haven't actually taken the time to hit the subscribe button. When you subscribe to a YouTube channel, it doesn't really change anything on your side other than you might see videos from the people you subscribed to more often. It might show up on your home screen. For most of you watching the 365 series, you want to see the daily video. That's why you're watching it. So subscribing puts a higher chance that that video, the next 365 video, will be shown on your home screen. So if you're missing videos or having trouble finding them, subscribing definitely helps with that. And the reason why I'm asking for the subscribe, if you're watching the content and you like the content, is because recently, for the first time ever, subscribers kind of hit like a plateau. And I didn't know if it was just summertime and, if the kids are home, you're not really watching as much because you're busy, right? So I wasn't sure what was happening. And maybe it was that people didn't like the particular journal I'm making this time. Some people have left me comments that let me know that a patriotic red, white, and blue journal was very inappropriate and they were mad about it. Again, I said it earlier. It was not made to be a specific, theme like that. And I didn't want to offend anyone. I'm just making a French journal the way I wanted to make a French journal. And so that's all I'm going to say about that. But so maybe that was the dip. Maybe people were off put by my journal choice for this month. You guys seem to like it a lot. The kits sold way better than the other kits have sold. So I don't really think it's a big problem. But anyway, every time YouTube hits a plateau, I question whether or not I'm making the kind of content that you guys like. If you don't like the content that I'm making, but you're watching it, leave me a comment politely and let me know what kind of content you would like me to make, what kind of things you would like me to do politely, because obviously if it's not kind, I'm just going to ignore it, delete it, whatever, right? Nobody needs to hear that kind of stuff. But if there's something that you guys would like me to do, let me know. If you guys are liking the content, leaving me a comment and letting me know that you guys like the content helps, because then I understand this is the kind of thing you want to see. This is the kind of thing you enjoy watching. It's just important because I am trying to figure out, this is my first year of making videos on YouTube. I started in January and I'm trying to figure out exactly how YouTube works, exactly what makes things what so like I'm very scientific about it. If I do this, I get this output, or if I do that, I get that output, kind of a thing, right? And I know YouTube has their algorithm and it is a very, particular algorithm. It's probably changing all the time. I do try to figure it out so that I can go with the flow instead of working harder and going against the flow. I know many of you guys do, and you're happy, but there are always some people who aren't. And so that's that. But anyway, if you're watching it if you're watching any of my content and you like it, let me know by subscribing. If you feel like leaving a comment and you have time to leave a comment, then by all means do. It's just, it hit a plateau and I'm like, okay, well, what changed? Maybe it's just summertime. I don't know. I even talk about this in a 365 video. I don't remember which one. You may have already seen it. But anyway, trying to figure it out. Trying to figure it out. Constantly trying to figure out. YouTube always feels like a moving goalpost, where once you figure one thing out, then it will change and you will now have to work to figure another thing out. And it's important to me because making the content takes a large amount of my time. And as you know, I have 48 hours of work to do in a 24-hour period. Time is very precious. And if I'm making the choice to make the content and the content isn't the kind of content people like, then it's really questionable of whether that's the best use of my time. So as I'm trying to figure that out, you guys will let me know your thoughts on the subject, and either it will improve from here or I will have to make a pivot because there is only so many hours in the day. So that's kind of where we're at with that. Oh my gosh. I just try to make everyone happy. That's all. It has been a very fun adventure, and I'm not saying that we're ending it. I'm just saying that I want to keep making content that people like to watch instead of spending time making content that people may not want to watch, that kind of a thing. I think for the most part, you guys, you're all on the same page, but occasionally there are people with different ideas, and I do like to hear the different ideas as long as they are said politely. And I do keep saying politely. All right, guys, thank you so much. Before I go down that road, thank you guys very much for joining me for tonight. I hope that you guys crafted along. Some of you like to watch and then you craft the journal cover or signature later. Just thank you for watching. Thank you for hanging out with me. Some of you are not making this journal at all and you're just hanging out, and thank you for doing that. I appreciate it. Again, check out the Facebook group. It's always linked in the description box. It's pinned at the top of the chat box, which the chat will go away here shortly, but it is in the description box of every video. There is a link to join the Facebook group. If you're not a member, go ahead, head over there and join. That's the next place you can find me. And then I will be here Tuesday for a live sale. It will mostly be French things on Tuesday. Thursday, same thing, mostly French things. And then the week after that, we will pivot and visit somewhere else. Always new things arriving here, right? I'm happy I started making videos too, but the question is best use of my time. And I need to balance that better. Okay, so there's a question. Monday, the week of, and there's a lot of confusion about the processing. I do 2 weeks of live sales. Then there is a week that it's just me processing behind the scenes, and I'm processing all those orders from the 2 weeks of sales. Then the following Monday is when invoicing comes out. So this week was never for invoicing live sale stuff from the 2 weeks, except for Florentine paper, Italian paper. But this week is for processing. That means I have to make all the extra packs that you guys asked for because I didn't have enough initially. That means I might have to take apart books and, pull out what I need out of them. It's just processing. I'm sorting all of your stuff into your bins. I'm doing drafts of your invoices, making sure everything is on your invoice, matching it to what's in your bin, starting the prepping. Every little thing gets sealed in a plastic bag. You guys know that. Your books get sealed. Everything gets pre-packed. And then I invoice you and actually box and ship your things. So this week is just processing. Invoicing will be on Monday. I'm not sure if it will be your live sale stuff, your French things, your live sale stuff, or if it will be Italian Florentine paper first. But you will have 2 invoices next week. One for all your live sale stuff and one for your Italian paper if you shopped both. Otherwise, you'll just get whatever invoice applies to you. Don't worry about getting 2 invoices in the same week. If you need extra time, just reach out to me and tell me you need extra time. If you don't reach out to me, then I don't know what's going on. But if you reach out to me and you say, I need an extra week, all good. But without the communication, nobody knows what's happening, right? So because you're getting 2 invoices at once, just reach out to me if you need extra time. That's pretty much it. I think that's all the updates. We will have shipping changes and processing time changes and all that kind of stuff in the very near future. But I need to get to a point where I have help to process things faster. Either that or I have to make some changes, some hard changes on my side. And you guys, we've talked about those hard changes that I'm dragging my feet and not wanting to make. So anyway, it's a time thing. There legitimately is more work than there is hours in the day. And we've just barely been keeping our head above water with it. And that's not good for me and it's not good for you. So we do want to get it to where things are much smoother. Things are much faster. I would like to get it to where we invoice every week and we ship maybe every 2 weeks. There's behind the scenes work that needs to happen before that can happen, because basically I would need 2 sets of bins. I would need week 1 bin and week 2 bin, or somehow to figure out that kind of stuff. There's so many moving parts to this. There's thousands of little bags and supplies that have to be all ordered to make sure that we can ship everything and package everything, and everything has its own little baggie. There's millions of sizes of baggies. Like, there's just so many tiny little things, tiny little parts of this that you guys never see. Somebody has to find all this wonderful stuff. Somebody has to source it all. Somebody has to decide what to purchase and what not to purchase, what's too expensive, what's the perfect price point. Somebody has to figure out the logistics of getting it here. Once it's here, it has to be sorted and prepped and unpacked and taken care of that way. There's warehouse work where literally huge boxes come and they're heavy, and you've got to take them apart and cut them down and like do all the recycling with the cardboard. And then everything gets sorted, and then it gets cleaned and brought here to sell. And then after that, it gets sorted into your bins. And it's just a lot of moving pieces. Every 2 weeks, there's multiple thousands of items sold. That's multiple thousands of items to hundreds of buyers over a 2 week period that all have to get moved and sorted and dealt with and individually invoiced. Your invoices have a line item for everything that you purchased. It's just a lot. And so I know that you guys know, most of you know this, but some people don't. Some people are like, well, I just bought 3 things. Why can't you just invoice me and ship me my 3 things? And I could, but that would mean that I pull your stuff out and treat your specific purchase differently than I treat the other 190 buyers. It takes more time, and it's not really fair to everyone. Everyone should get processed in the same period and the same time. And it does create problems to pull out specific orders and specific things out of sequence. That's when accidents happen. It's not a good thing. Everything needs to go just in cycle. And that's where we're at. And I know that you guys are patient with it. And first of all, the problem of being so busy and having so much work, obviously it's not a problem, right? It's a good thing. It's a good thing we're growing. But we need to get to the point where behind the scenes we can handle it. And we're very close. We just need to find the right person or people, it's really people, to step in and do some of that work for us. We are willing to pay handsomely for it. But at the present time, we have been unable to find willing and able participants to do that. I know it will happen. I'm just being patient for the right person. I really thought we had the right person last time. And I think we would have, but cataracts are a hard thing when you can't see because there's something clouding your vision. And I think because she had been living with it, she didn't realize how much she would not be able to see. And for something where you're reading chat and you're looking at little line item comments and little line item inventory sheets and stuff like that, it just was too much where she wasn't going to be able to see enough, and it was going to cause too much headaches and eye strain for her and just be overall too stressful. So unfortunately, she didn't know and I didn't know, and we went to the point where we were, okay, let's do this. And it just didn't work out. So it is sad. It really is. But she has a medical condition that also prevents her from having the corrective surgery for cataracts. And so for her, it's really sad because she has lost a significant portion of her vision, and it's not something where it's an easy fix. Not that surgery is really easy, but you guys know what I mean. Like she really can't get it fixed. So it is a really sad situation for her. But we are going to find the right person at the right time, and we'll move forward. And I'm confident that that will happen when it's meant to happen. We're there. We're waiting. We're trying. So anyway, I appreciate you guys being kind and being patient. I really do. Mostly and it's not that new people are bad. It's just that there's a learning curve to this process. And when new people come, my process works differently than maybe buying in other places. Like if you bought online at a website, your order is handled differently than it's handled here at Live Sales. So it's just different, and I think it's a learning curve, and usually the new people, once they understand, they're good with it. But it is also, you can say it 100 times in a live sale, or you can say it 100 times over 2 weeks, but they have to be watching at that exact moment to hear what you're saying. So it's kind of a difficult messaging situation too, because even through text, it's hard to get the right information to the right person. So that's also something that we're really working on, because that is probably the number two biggest problem. Number one is time, and number two is getting the information to the right person at the right time when they need it. And that's what texting is starting to take over, but there's still a missing element that needs to be implemented there. So anyway, it's always a work in progress. Always. Yes, the cataracts. Yes. I mean, especially because, most people, they get to a point where they're interfering with their daily life so much that they go have surgery for it. Apparently, it's just not an option. So cataracts continue to grow, or you get more cataracts. It's just a really sad situation. Yeah. Well, guys, I appreciate you. Thank you very much for joining. Sorry to end on a sour note. It's not really sour, but we're always making changes. And thank you guys for being on this crazy ride with me. Some of you have been on this crazy ride with me for 3 or 4 years now. I think 4 years. Thank you guys for being on this crazy ride with me. I appreciate it very much. Um, it's just, there is a goal at the end of the road, and we're every day moving closer and closer to that goal. I think when we get to that goal, I believe we will get to that goal. When we get to that goal, we will all look back at this period with fond memories and laughter, because the end goal is very different than the today happenings. So anyway, more on that later as it happens. You guys know things are changing all the time around here. Yeah, you can have it before it gets too bad. I know that she so my dad also had cataracts, and he had his removed, or he had the surgery for that. Um yeah, she's doing good. She's doing good. My daughter's doing good. Yeah. Well, hopefully there's advancements made with the eye surgery, and then maybe that will correct her, be able to fix her problem, and also some of your guys's. Yeah, true. All right, guys. I'll let you guys go. Enjoy the rest of your night. Have a great weekend. I will see you back here on Tuesday night at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we will have a fun night doing whatever we're doing. We'll pull some new French ephemera, and we'll do that. And some, I don't know, some treasures that are in some boxes out there. That's what we'll do. All right, guys. See you later. Thank you. Bye.